Mm. Yes. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Welcome, guys. Welcome again to another session, another stream here on the Chaos Rain Show. I'm Chaos Rain here. For those that's new to the channel, welcome to the Chaos Rain channel. And also, those that will be future subscribers, welcome as well. And like always, to know the deal, you always hit the red button and the top notification bell for uploads and live streams here on the Chaos Rain Show. Also, you can follow me on Twitter at Chaos Rain 7. What else? You could also add me as a friend on Facebook, Eric Rain on Facebook. And and join and follow me on Rumble as well. And I also have a Discord service as well to this channel as well. I probably will put the links in the description of this video or in the chat room. Regardless, these are links to follow me, Chaos Rain. You know, I do sound a little depressed now. I think about it. I don't know why, man. You know, at times you get in the mood to really feel like you don't want to do content or whatever case may be, but nonetheless, the show has to go on. And you know, I do this not because I like a lot. I like what I do, you know, at times, most likely. And I'm looking through my thing. I'm looking. And as you know, guys, I now started to do some shorts on here on my YouTube page. Some videos you will know that you might come accustomed to. And but you know, some of my videos are going to be turned to shorts. So be on the lookout. Or I might throw some new stuff videos. Who knows? You know. Nonetheless, it is content for people with the short attention span. I got y'all now. As much times I didn't want to fall victim to the short attention span content, but you got to give people what they want, what they love, what they feel is rightfully deserved. So, you know, nonetheless, I have to please the crowd. I'm just looking at some things now before I get into this so-called little rant. And really, truly, this is, I guess you could say doubling down, maybe. And what's this? I see a lot of pop-ups. I'm just checking my messages before I begin. And shit. Yes. Hold on, guys. So, you know. I'm just looking at some things, guys. What else I'm hearing here? Did I forget anything? I'm just double checking, looking. I don't think I forgot anything. No. I don't want to get too bogged down with all these pop-ups. So let me do this. Let me stop this. All right. Shouldn't be distracting no more. Okay. That's it. And wait, do I forget anything? Yeah. No, I think that's pretty much it. I think all notifications be sent out. If not, you know, y'all know what do y'all catch the replay. So what's the title? Is it love or is it cuckolding? Now, as y'all know, the term itself is an old term. If I can remember what the dictionary term of it is if I have it up here. And usually the term itself, from what I'm reading from Wikipedia, a cuckold is a husband or a adulterous wife. The wife of adulterous husband is what they call cuckolding. A biological cuckold is a male who unwillingly invests his parenting efforts in, I think it's called juveniles who are not genetically his offspring. I mean, that's what the term it says here. And there's many other terms in regards to having sexual relations with his wife, male, or a man's wife makes her husband cuckold by being sexually unfaithful. And there are many terms, some from regular dictionary to Webster's to urban. And we're not going to detail of the, more detail. Y'all can read that for yourself. But why is it term called this? And why I double down? Now, I'll give thanks and praise to the one Miss Pink Pill for revealing that information about the one they called Mr. Carroll that was having conversations with her for an ongoing of roughly maybe 7 years. And knowing this, it's really revealing. I know a few content creators defend Mr. Carroll in regards to that, he's a pimp, he's a player, etc., etc. I don't see it that way, and here's why. Because one thing is evident: you have a crowd or audience that are roughly in the thousands, mostly black males, right? And from those black males, they're very influenced from the rhetoric you put out here on social media in regards to alleged female or black people's nature, and go brag about it, even to the point you call them black people animals, they're stupid, they're dumb. Which really, in his life, I don't think he has nothing to show for it besides being a personalist on the internet. But as you know, like what the lady has said, he did die alone, unfortunately. And all the little work he's done, or the website that he's trying to have up and running, which really, to me, it don't cost $100K to have some website established to put out your content, since you're being constantly being banned from not only one platform from next because of your rhetoric, your language, but as a testament that lets you know, saying, if corporations can't make money off what you do respectfully, you don't make money. So to find Mr. Carroll had to now create a what they call a fund zone or GoFundMe for the last, when he died in 2021, so it was really established. He had that fundraiser for over or close to 10 years. That all the money he accumulated is now probably still accumulating as we speak. Right? Find the old website. I mean, it probably still collect the money as we know, and a lot of people didn't know this man been dead. Because let's be honest, most of the donors that donate or contribute to the man for as long as they've been doing it, they're not going to really know that if the man's still alive or not on the average. Because usually when there's fundraisers established, those things keep running. They keep establishing and making money. Especially if we have old content that's circling from the internet, telling people you must, fund the project. And if not, he'll give you the video links for the Rabbit Hole Productions, which really, that was an offshoot of what we call Free Zone Adventure, which was once called Black Adventure, but it does not no longer exist. And the reason why I think it does no longer exist is because of the many watchful eyes pushback of where direction of people that's pushing red pill or manosphere talking points is going. And this leads on to the subject at hand, but I want you to give you a backstory so we have some context. I just want to sit here and really be going off because that don't make no sense. Y'all gotta know the history of things, people, before I even go into my views. That there are a lot of males, black and non-black, were on that Free Zone Avenger, and they were, how can I say this? They were putting out content in regards to their disdain for hate for women, especially women, like black women mostly, on the website. Trust me, 'cause I viewed the website. I saw some of the videos. Not all, but just a few. And I'll tell you right now, if these people or these men had their way and they ran a website, it was not controlled by non-black people, I swear to God, you will see a lot of black males and non-black men, but let's say black males for especially, they will be running their mouth very loosely. They'll be cussing. They'll be saying some things that even your grandma wouldn't be pleased. And I had to laugh to this because y'all just don't know. I'm telling you right, y'all just don't know. They will say some off-wall stuff that you would be a man to say, damn, is these black people? Shit. I mean, that's how you had to look at it. Hold on, guys. Let me do this. They said some very off-the-wall stuff on that website, personally. And you won't be surprised that if this was allowed on other social media / other platforms that pay people in ad revenue or make them have to possibly get paid, they would continue their rhetoric over there on this other site. That's how I look at it. And knowing this, they will have free range to really go all the way off on the opposite sex. And they will tell women what they really think of them. And trust me, ladies, if you have not cried, shit, you don't want these dudes saying what they're saying. Like, literally. On a bigger platform. They will cuss your butt off. They will let you know what's on their mind. Their language will be so harsh. If you have not cried, you're going to cry now. Wait, something happened. Wait 1 second. So that's the backstory of what David Carroll put most of his content on, the more harsher content where he can't see it on YouTube, right? And the strange thing about it, right, that they'll say what they want, think and say what's on their mind, and there will be no repercussions, personally, So I'm just telling y'all this because this will lead to more context, and I have to really be honest and think really critically on y'all, and really be blunt, honest that I can see why there's some filters for the men's side. Now for the ladies need some filters as well, because y'all ladies, y'all tongue is as sharp as a sword, especially you sisters. You think about the days of enslavement. I never understand why when they show pictures of us during chattel slavery, but when I think of the bigger picture, it made sense why they'll put muffins over your mouths, because anything you say will be a sting, a sharp edge that will be poking, because the words do mean value. They mean something. They penetrate you. And that's what a lot of non-black men, most European men, knew this. So what they did, they put muffles on y'all to shut y'all up. And to me, I find that to be wrong. But I understand why they did it, because the word is just as deadly as anything else. And during a time when you're impressed, if you cannot physically harm somebody, if you're a woman, the next best thing is you got to use your words to bring damage. Yeah. So that's the issue. And so that's why Uncle Dave, if you were constantly a subscriber to his original channels, and he always did his little uploads, he always say, email him and he'll send you a link for the uncut raw version of what he really wants to say. And trust me, one thing I know, I find is very ironic. that a lot of women don't like when men, either in this group or just men during, call them or use the word bitch. Yes, yes. It stings more than anything else. Nor they call each other bitches, but that's another story. But nonetheless, that's the word they like to use on themselves, but don't like the men use it. But that's not a story. So that's what Uncle Dave used to use a lot in a lot of his uploads. But ever since then, he had to tone down because they're constantly hitting his channel. But nonetheless, he's no longer speak for himself. But the point is this, that I did like the pink pill revealing that, because if you're a person and you find somebody respectful that you worship and like, which a lot of black men mostly like Uncle Dave. I like some videos, but I did not worship dude or say that what he's doing was cool. All I know is that there's something I can take out of his content. I don't take everything, but I can sit there and understand certain things he was saying. And one of the few things that a lot of people, especially men and especially women, we're very addicted to non-black people to the point that we worship them even to the point of their skin tone, and we always erase anything of any imperfections towards these people, because skin tone is their shield of perfection. It is that halo effect. It is that golden shield, that allure that gravitates a lot of black folks. And I mean a lot of black folks. All right. Yeah. So that's the background. And so I give Pink Pill credit for revealing that. Now for the dudes that respond in a good or negative way, or even try to big up Uncle Dave as a pimp or player toward Miss Pink Pill, I mean, I had to disagree on that, because, like I said, if you're mad and you hate, regardless, they said is hate effing. I mean, have intercourse. That if you hate someone even to the point where you want to screw them, that's a mental illness, in my opinion. Even me as a man, as old as I am, I'm not that super old, but I'm getting there. That me as myself, I cannot see myself, and I said me, that I hate someone or despise someone so bad that I just want to stick my phallus and have intercourse. That's not productive. It's nonsense. That means that's something wrong with me to really think and operate that way. But then again, you deal with a set or group of people, especially some men, that is not mentally healthy there, to go out your way and say you hate them so much that you want to have sex with them. That, to me personally, that means you really want to have sex with them from the start, and they're not giving up the goods to you. It's gonna make you get more antagonizing, anxious, and it's gonna make you exude more of your hatred towards them, which you already shown already. And usually, when men are very much in their feelings, they're gonna verbalize it, express it with words. They can't do it physically, because doing things physically to somebody opposite sex, you're gonna do time in jail. And a lot of dudes, let's be honest, don't want to be in jail because they don't want to be another man's and become another man's property, meaning you be somebody else's bitch. I'm just keeping it real with y'all. This is gonna be a raw conversation tonight. It's gonna be boring too, to let y'all know ahead of time now. So buck up. I'm gonna be honest with this conversation, because I have to do this. Got to do this. Regardless what you see in the image of the thumbnail. Yeah, let's focus on her. Yes, because I had to say something about her too, because I had to come to realization by another content creator about this particular character. Wait a minute. Wait, I forgot something. 1 second, guys. No. Hold on. What's hold on, guys. All right. Let me see if I forgot anything before I continue. Oh, yeah, matter of fact, let me make sure I'm looking at simulcast because usually I'm looking at one screen. I didn't look at the other screen. Hold on. Let's see back. Pull up. All right, good. All right. I'm looking at two. It's been a couple of weeks. All right, sorry about that, guys. Oh, another thing about this thing going on with Mr. Jonathan Majors and his issues in regards to domestic abuse or alleged domestic abuse. One thing is evident that you're going to know about this is that they're going to start replacing actors that should play the role moving forward in Hollywood. And one of the actors they are showing and making an example of is Jonathan Majors. For those that's not familiar, they're going to start doing that. Because one thing is evident, because there's movie companies or movies that's making money, they cannot no longer afford, and I mean no longer afford personally, to lose more money. And trust me, every time when an actor slips up and does some or is alleged doing something that they shouldn't be doing, they lose money. So what they're going to do now, move forward to those that's known, they're going to have to, and they're going to start put the actor that they in their mind is a replacement right off the bat. No matter what situation or what project or what filming they're going to do, moving forward, they're going to start replacing actors right on the spot if any alleged thing dealing with domestic violence is occurring. Okay, I'm going to acknowledge somebody in the chat room. Hello, Positive Vibes. How you doing? What's good? What's good? Hold on. Make sure you share this in your social media, Positive Vibes, if you can. I can't really say that because when they were casting the character to play Kang the Conqueror, Darth Vader made more sense because he well suited and make more sense to play that character because he has a certain persona, a certain personality, and demeanor of himself to be more of a better role playing Kang the Conqueror personally. And be honest with you, he has more of a better look. Because when you look at Kang the Conqueror and you look at Jonathan Majors, he actually looks like he could play Kang. Like actually, in the comic books. If you look at the comic books and look at him, he actually makes more sense. And he has catalog of movies and TV shows he played under his belt and experience to play more of a ideal role in regards to the multiple personalities of Kang the Conqueror. That's why when this thing happened to him, it kind of took a lot of potential movie directors, films, and companies to a back seat to really think that they should move forward. And for those that's watching, I see more people watching. Please, guys, as you come in, please hit the like button. Likes are free. Please hit it. Hit it. I would appreciate if y'all want to contribute to the channel. I would love that as well. So please, likes are free. As you come in, hit the like button. Don't be scared. Hit that like button, man. Let this go wild on the algorithm if you can, please. Pretty please. Anyway, yeah. So I could see them moving forward to start moving very quickly to start replacing actors on the fly. All right. Now, what I was saying, I was acknowledging the chat or acknowledging in regardless to the Cuckold thing and Uncle Dave Carroll and Pink Pill. I had a conversation with another YouTuber in regards to the Pink Pill, and I was a part of this conversation, and she said some things that made me have to take a backseat and think really critically. Besides the other content creators that was defending Uncle David Carroll, and after put some good thought and thinking on this, I had to think, say, yeah, this something has to really be talked about because It baffles me. And this is what I'm starting to notice. This is just me, guys. I'm gonna be honest. 'Cause I don't really talk about this, but let's go there. If the pink pill was in a marriage for nearly 20 years, right? Or over 20 years, but let's say nearly 20 years, right? And she did get divorced by her non-black husband, which from what I'm hearing, the non-black husband filed divorce on her. This is what I heard. I can't say if it's a rumor or not, but they're divorced now, right? Okay. And it makes me think that was a big blow economically and status wise for her. And here's why. Because for the last, when the book came out in 2010, I believe, called Swirling, how why black women should expand the options, right? Okay. Okay. They want to expand and find any other man suited for the job. Okay, let's have that conversation. Okay. If that was the case, and that's what she was pushing for a good portion of the last decade, and probably some now moving forward still, but let's say for the last, let's say 11 years, she was been not only pushing this, but making content, you know, against black men for whatever good reason, and mostly attacking black men. Let's keep real. That if you're pushing and telling black women as a whole, particularly America, to go find other groups of men, swirl out, date out. Okay. Why is it the focus of conversations directly only on black men every time? It's my biggest question. Because usually when you push any product, you should be more pushing, and not only that, but having non-black men here with black women in good portion of numbers, not just a lot, but enough to show the real good side and also the bad side in regards to interracial dating that will lead to marriage. Personally. But as we know, that's not the case. A lot of people that really mess with her or subscribe to her content, even the black women now that subscribe, that still rock with her or now don't want to rock with her for what reason, they could tell right off the bat that they could smell bull crap from Miss Pink Pill. And I noticed with her, she's very emotional for every little thing. But she's a woman, but very emotional, right? Okay, I see somebody wrote something. Marie. All right. The focus was on black men because black women were so reluctant to marry out. We have been extremely loyal to our term. Okay. It's more than loyalty because it was that easy. And we got to really challenge the loyalty now moving forward. Because as we know, most of us as a whole, we're not getting married like that in mass numbers. I hear too many things popping up that black people, especially black men and black women, are getting married at roughly 80%, right? But when we look at actual and really crunch down the numbers, and we look at the legal side of marriage, is as small as under 30%. And we all know if it's nothing over half and it's below 50%, because you're not getting 100%. If you get anything roughly over 65 or more, you're doing exceptionally well, data-wise, if there's such thing. But once you drop below 50, you're actually doing bad. And our marriage now is bad at 30%. You're not sustaining nothing at under 50% personally. Now, we always got to ask the question, why is black people getting married less? That would be more better determined question. And we could say mostly they get married less because either it's finance, which mostly that's determined, but it's more than that. It is usually really if I gotta be honest with y'all, I gotta get away from data to really give real insight how I look at why we don't get married. Men don't want to get married like that, also because men today, more than ever, are selfish. Yeah, I said it. Very selfish. Very selfish. I don't know why we're selfish, but we're selfish nonetheless. Because what's the first thing you hear, ladies, when dudes say they don't want to get married? They don't want to give the woman, she ain't getting half. Either money or not. And depending how long you've been married, because now we look at today, if people are getting married legally, the average now, and one time I thought it was under roughly 2-3 years, which it still falls in that, but let's say it's not that, it's only roughly 5 years. For people that's been married newly or have been married, you're only going to get 5 years out of what they call quote unquote a marriage. And really, you're not even that's nothing. You're not even trying. You're not even getting scratching the surface around 5 years. Usually, you really have a decent starting point of a marriage, actually the marriage, legal, is 10 years. Now, depending how long a person know one another, it's a little different from actually getting legally married by paper. Which, you hear a lot of our relationships, if we got to do a quantitative analysis, which really there's no data on this personally, that we ask the question, how long on average do people sit there, interact, or in relationships before marriage? I'll throw in a guess. Y'all guys could respond in the chat room. I'll throw in a guess. Most relationships, when it comes to Black folks, most likely it lasts over 3 years. Maybe. Now I'm just throwing 3 years. I'm saying this is the average. I could say some you hear relationships that last for over 6, 7, 8 years. I heard even stories relationships last over 10 years. And sometimes the mate that they deal with will marry them. Now we all know someone said why would a man, much as a woman, be in a relationship that long? And maybe eventually get married. Now we could say a lot of women don't see the value of marriage. Same with the men, and most men nowadays don't give a crap about marriage now because let's be honest, you hear the notion, you hear the scarcity mindset saying marriage is not what's cut out to be, is this and that, and it said, well, I'm not sure what point in life anything was cut out to be because usually everything we do nowadays, when our parents were married, it was usually from duty. We're not talking about all the infidelities, but what father commits, what mommy commits, or the fighting, abuse, verbal or physical. We don't go into those factors. We just say that, most of the relationships, they had to stay together because, the law set it forth as is. But since no fault divorce came into action in 69 going on, it really started to take effect in the early 70s. And then you start seeing the explosion of divorces that anybody was married around roughly mid 70s, most likely. But nonetheless, women, don't really stay in these relationships long because, a dude is not really going to be in the business to really just let women go. And one of the few reasons, because like I said, he doesn't want to give her nothing in return, especially if she ain't coming with nothing. Yeah. And it makes me want to dudes that got money and they're marrying women that don't really have nothing to offer besides a cute smile and a cute behind. That does not serve them. But unless they marry these dudes, they go out the way, marry these women that don't really offer nothing besides eye candy. So when she's entitled to have your crap, what do you expect? And really, that's the fault on the man. If you marry a woman that is not even educating herself, providing something besides a cute smile, cute butt, that's on him. And don't be fooled, ladies. You hear dudes talking about saying your education doesn't matter. Oh, it does. And it depends what type of education, because you have to bring some form of value. You always hear them say that it doesn't matter. Don't listen to that. That's garbage. I would tell most people stop listening to anybody that tell what is not value or what's value. Because it was not value, like they said is, if they want to hold that notion, it doesn't. So why you find somebody else that does have it on the average? What do you have value? You could say what you don't want, but unless you're carrying out and your actions, what you really want, all of it is word salad to a lot of people, including, the opposite sex. So that's the reason why, most dudes today don't want to do it, because they don't want to give nothing. Hell, look at the soccer player. And there was content done on this soccer player from, I think, Africa, that was married to a woman that's 12 years older than him. She met him when he was 19. I think making her like 19. Because she's 33 now. Or she's 36. No, actually she's 36. If my math is right. Yeah. Because she's born. Matter of fact, let me double check. No, I'm right. Yeah, she's now about to be 37. Yes, my math is right. She's that old. So she met this dude when if he was 19 and he was born 1998, that means she knew this dude since 2017. And they getting divorced in 2023. That's a period of 5 years. Which really is on point, on mark of the average marriage. Now, this is the average marriage in America. I can't speak about outside America because they got married in Europe. But if we do a quick analysis of what's the average of divorce, it will be no different from America, most likely. If the rules the same that's applied in America in regards to no fault divorce and all that stuff, it will apply also in a country that's the cousin or adjacent to America. But so, but really, truly, and really, I always question when a man that's that young getting married to someone that's that old. That tells me she sees something about you, whether you good looks or you have potential, that she jumped into it and want to jump into it very quickly. Because as you know, she was at 31 years old when she married this dude. I mean, when she saw this dude and was in a relationship with him before they got married back in 2020. So let me read y'all comments before I continue. Let's see. Yes, black women are unfortunately still holding out for black IBM, ideal black men. Okay. But who controls marriage in the society? Men are the ones supposed to be asking. Yes, correct. But statistically, black women are financially head of household, even with marriage. They and other racial ethnicity groups similar. Okay. And statistically, half of what black men was to offer is nothing. I mean, a good portion of black men today don't. I can't say that they offer anything, but right now, if we're talking about money, not really, because if the population here in America, we're almost approaching 50 million strong black people, and out there is a ratio of maybe 6 million adult black men or 7 million adult black men, and with black women, it's like I think I'm getting mixed up percentage wise, but it's like you gotta look at half and half. There's always gonna be more women than men. So if there's 2 million or maybe more than 2 million women for every man, it is what it is. But out of those adults, not every man out there is doing very well financially. I can't speak about other races, but if black men are not doing well financially, I could say other races not doing that well as well, especially in America. Regardless, they're white. We all know we live in any sector in the United States, we could find not only a black bum, we could find a white bum as well. Trust me, they do exist. I know most people don't think that is true. You've not been driving in the street corners and seeing what sometimes I see sometimes. I'm saying. That's another story. So obviously, that's the problem. Another thing. In regards to the swirling aspect and the loyalty, right? Black women do have children roughly still early, which is fine. Knowing the birth rate and what's the average age, some out there are still having children roughly in their mid-20s. Besides women that don't have children if they hit 30, roughly. And now what we find out now, because a lot of people, especially when it comes to paternity tests to check if the baby is theirs, notice a lot of ladies are having children by not just by black men, they're having children by us, other non-black people too. But that is something that's not really talked about, but that has been a growing trend now for the last 7 years. And there's some data on that as well. By the number of men having children, by the amount of women having children. And I remember when Mr. Sperling and Mr. Igmore, if he gets this, has revealed that a year ago or two in regards to quick data of the amount of, in regards to gender, who has more children or are able to impregnate and have children. And from that average, and I'm only using this as just a talking point, that's something that has to look at, but really it's something present that I did not know that most every other culture man that's not black has children within their racial group. More, except black men in America, which was really astonishing to me to find that out. To really, really question, say, okay, the white man has more children than his woman, Asian as well. I think Latinos, which are white, and every other group, even the Indian man, you know. And usually when we hear even the speculation of the small pool of black men that isn't even pregnant, even to the point that's question about this so-called 50% of black men and childless, which really that's questionable, but okay, we'll have that. We'll accept that for now. And I always said, if that's the case, what age does a black man have kids for the first time? I still couldn't get no answer for that. And I remember when Darrell did that, how you said, he did the breakdown on that Black Demographics website that has not been updated for roughly. Hold on. What's this? Oh, okay. Oh wow. Oh well, you know. Yeah, I just got some. Sorry about that. I just got distracted. Uh, you want the StreamYard link, Big Kev? Give me a moment, Kev. I'm going to open this up in like a few minutes. Let me just finish what I'm saying, and I'll open it up. One thing is evident, if I can remember, is that yeah, a lot of black women are having outside children outside of black men, beyond the small pool of black men that they're actually interacting with. That are the ones that's more sexually attracted. Cause listen, ladies want attraction. Let's keep it real. I know the old man wrote a book on this, the red book on this, but what's this? But really truly, and really, I would tell people they should get that book, the red book by the old man. I will get a copy of that book, Phil's copy soon. I think that should be having in every library because he's the only one that's going to be honest with the information. Yeah, but you know why they would have more children, the sisters, than the men in our groups is because let's be honest, they've been conditioned now for good long, and this is really the fault of a lot of men because a lot of men, right? You stay or go, you have to be involved in regards to how your children are going to be turning out in the society. If you decide just to abandon them all, like right down from the get go, you leave an imprint, a missing imprint to understand discipline order for your children that are going to be adults. That means the boys won't get no structure when you're complete absent to them. Same with the adults. They won't understand how a man functions and moves, and they will not understand real discipline order because you're no longer there. So what happens? You leave a gap for all your children that's going to be adults to really function in the society. And that's something that, a lot of men should not abandon in mass, personally. So, but other than that, these ladies are having children by other groups of men. And that also conflicts numbers of, the rise of creating more mixed children. Besides the black men that's either married or not married, making these mixed babies. But overall, these ladies are making mixed babies as well that does not be discussed because, let's be honest, a good portion of anybody in the society, especially who's going to play stepdaddies and raise these children, are going to be predominantly mostly black men on the average as a whole, unfortunately. And I don't want to say this, but got to keep it real. because you hear this notion that said black men make the best fathers, that shit. Well, really, it's really black men make good stepfathers. And they're not going to complain about it because they'll be stepfathers for other groups of women. So what is the difference between a black within our own group being stepmothers? Let's keep it real. I mean stepfathers. I'm just keeping it real. So moving forward, in regards to the pink pill, right? That was once married, right? That she talks extensive about black men because really truly it's a marketing ploy because of regards to the loyalty or not, she cannot be honest to really teaching real game what really it takes to really attract non-black men. And I remember Miss Pink Pill was on Kevin Samuel's show and he asked the real question, what does it really take? I'm not sure that's how it was worded, but he said that when she was calling in on the show, right? And she said one thing is important is how you carry yourself and your weight. Which I'm not sure why people have one thing I find interesting with a lot of us as black people, especially as sisters, that weight should be the number one priority out everything else. And here's why. Whether you're in a relationship or not, and remember, it's not just Kevin saying it's also the one they call Six the Goddess has been emphasizing this as well. Now we could say a lot of things that why people want to listen to her. She's a goddamn stripper. Yes, I get it. I understand it. And I'm calling some content creators names just to be for context. But I look at it, say, well, she's not a fat person. And for her own upbringing, she knows the importance of what men like, and that is the image. They like a woman that's fine and look rightfully in shape. Now, not every woman, black woman, is going to be perfectly in shape like her, but there should be just enough. You get me? And it goes even deeper about what is the actual black beauty standard, which these are really good logical questions. And the reason why we cannot answer these questions because we don't know what is beauty now to us as a people. Most of our existence now in this country is what we see as beauty, which is artificial. And what I mean by artificiality means we're compensating. If you're a sister, you know the rule and order today, even if you work in corporation. You cannot carry yourself as your natural state. That means if you have natural hair, that's an afro, puffy, that goes up. Because as a race, the creation create us in a way why our hair always stands up. It's not only the looks, but it's a certain attraction of magnetism. Everything in the universe goes up. It's an antenna. It absorbs everything. That's why your hair goes up. It never falls flat dead. So, and mind you, if you understand, ladies, one of the biggest issues about your hair is not just the white man has issue with your hair, it's really the white chick has a big problem with your hair. They used to do things, make fun, even abuse you back then now about how you carry your hair, whether it says nappy or what. They got to demonize your hair, especially if your hair can grow very fluffy and big. It's also a turnoff for other groups of people. Matter of fact, it's such a bad turnoff. You always hear them, they say they want to touch your goddamn hair. You ever notice? You ever ask your question, why do they always want to touch your hair? Because they know the attraction it brings. It attracts and it gravitates everything. They know the science of us better than ourselves. And that's why they had to demonize it. So obviously, keeping you in a natural state, skin-wise, hair-wise, not carrying any artificiality like too much makeup or any fake nails on stuff, which is also an add-on to beautify you, but really is a disadvantage in the long run because really you come as a natural state. And mostly people that need extra stuff to make themselves extra beautiful are not really beautiful in the long term of things. Regardless what you want to believe or hear, it's not. You always hear constantly, ladies, that most men, if you ask them the crucial question, they'll tell you that stuff you got on, they don't like. I agree. Because men are attracted to natural beauty as best as possible. They don't want to be fooled by the beauty. I think we're wired like that as humans, that we want to see people in a natural state as possible at times. Now, once in a while, you want to make yourself extra enhanced for special occasions, just to show up. But overall, we love it as you are in your natural state as best as possible. That's just the honest truth. So with the pink pill, with her, she did not really want to be transparent to a lot of her clientele or people that are buying her products and books. And I get it, because this is all marketing at the end of the day. All marketing for good reasons. For good reasons. And really, truly, it works. And it should work. Because how are you going to sell to someone and you tell people the real honest truth about what the product you're buying? Especially it's something that they're not ready to deal with. That's how I look at it, So that's why when she told Kevin the honest truth on his air, and she don't really go in detail with her own clientele or people that she consults on the average. Maybe if they pay a service, she might keep it real. But overall, she's not put out content and emphasize this, because it will hurt her brand in the long run. What's good? I'm Jay Shine. So obviously, that's why she doesn't go in debt with y'all. And one more thing, and I'm going to open this up in regards to this marriage and this cuckold thing. In my opinion, I think she doesn't mind engaged with with black men on the low while married to white men, because let's be honest, cuckolding is a Eurocentric thing. And trust me, it's evident, and it go beyond what you see on TV or what you buy on DVD. This is something that's always like ongoing. Hell, you hear stories of a lot of dudes, black men, how they're confronted by non-black people, especially the woman, and saying that she wants to have intercourse with you, and she lets you know that she's in a relationship with her husband, and her husband doesn't mind, and he wants to watch. And I'm thinking, what the hell? So you tell me you're a man and you were married, and she don't mind you getting, banged out by another man, and he watched? And she said, yeah. So imagine now, if a sister is married to a non-black man, I wonder. The possibility is now that you could still have entanglements with black men on the low while still marrying white. It's actually a blessing if you think about it. And really, truly, let's be honest. Not saying she was doing that on the average, but let's be honest. You up here promoting something like my good friend Faith, we talked about on her channel, and on the low, you're still entangling and dealing with Negroes, especially black men. And I never really thought about it, but now I think about it, because the marriage eventually dissolved in the last year or two, right? That would make more sense. That would make a lot of sense. But let's be honest, when you marry out, that's the beauty of it. Because let's be honest, if black people are married right now, let's be honest, most majority of black folks, especially men, are not down with the knowing that their woman is engaged in another relationship or want to deal with that cuckolding nonsense. Not with our group. We don't do those type of things, unfortunately, if we're in relationships, on the average. That I know of. I don't know. But mostly when you hear most average above or average men, you talk to average above black men, and you tell them this, they're not down with that. I'm just keeping real honest. So, matter of fact, I'm going to open this up because it's now been a good hour. All right. I'm going to put the call link. And as I put the call link, and as y'all come up, please, let's be reasonable in this conversation. If you could tone down the language, I would appreciate it. But it is the after hour. And as y'all come up, let me read y'all comments. Let's see. All right. Unemployment, though, for black men is higher, costing the country $50 billion a year. And yes, there are white bums, but statistically, our proportion we have more in our community. Yeah, because most people are not getting hired. If you're black, it's a little struggle to get hired. Because most people are now trying to play for keeps to hire their own. All right, where's all this data? I got my data from them. Okay, good. Oh, you know the data I talked about earlier is something that Mr. Darrell talked about I think black demographics, because they got their data from I think the Department of Labor, but they get the data from so many sources. I don't know, man. Their junk has not been updated for like 6 years now, but I ain't gonna go into that. Media Man did a video about this topic. He got his information from the CDC. Okay. Please like, subscribe. All right, thank you. How many of those women end up marrying the fathers of their mixed babies? You know, not many. Because as you know, the marriage right now in our community is still low. I mean, black women have gotten a chance to marry out. It's still a small percentage. Just like how black men either get married very small. I think when it comes to us black folks, we gotta be honest. As much as we talk about getting married, we don't want to get married because that takes work. It takes duty. And not only it takes sacrifice, and you're going to take a loss. Which, if you hear the conversation between black folks, men and women, especially black men, they're not really reluctant to really take a loss. I hear them talking about say they rather take a loss on a business, then go out the way and get married and take a loss in a marriage. I mean, this is what I'm hearing. That's what I'm hearing. All right, let's keep going. Yeah, positive vibes. Yeah, I believe the number showed that over 6% of black women have children, as opposed to 40% of black men. Yeah, that's what it said. Okay, she was married to a non-black man. She's with a non-black man. She says it takes for black women to open their eyes. Yeah, I mean, and like I said, everybody has options, whether they explore or not. Personally, and I think it's more than just to keep the race. I think really is they just don't like these other racist people. Let's keep it real. And not only that, one thing when you go marry out, there's gonna be standards once you deal with other groups of people because they're gonna demand it. If not, the only consequence they have is either they divorce you or they walk away. It's one or the other. Next comment. But Pink Pill often wears her hair naturally. If thumbnail of her is a video of her. Yeah, she of course she wears her hair naturally. Of course. Yes, she does. All right. I think I see somebody. I see in the studio. 1 second. Who else? There's a lot of black women in interracial relationships with natural hair, and there are a lot of interracial relationships with weaves. The only one in this day and age focus on hair is black men. Okay. There's a cap. Okay. Yep. And what's good, Jay Sean? Sorry, earlier. Okay. This conversation is so dusty and disingenuous. The pink pill did not come for David Carroll. He came for her. She never received it. I did give praise to the pink pill, Miss Ebony, in regards her revealing information about Uncle David Carroll. And I expressed that, that with him, for him to say he hates her and then has conversation on low tells you where his mind state is. So found Ebony, but she didn't entertain him when she should have rejected him outright. Yeah. So David Carroll gets exposed, and you decide to imply that the pink pill was cuckolding her husband and blaming the black woman. No, it's in regards to cuckolding, if we want to go there, that it's evident that there is a thing called the dual mating strategy, which I try to avoid, but it is true in regards to, there's certain leeway if you are married to set non-black men, that this is a known custom. And let's be honest, I think her husband didn't want to pull with certain things no more. What she was doing. I mean, let's be honest. If you're going to keep it business, why you keep business? Why you keep it on business? And usually, when non-black men, they don't like when their mates that is not part of the race still having conversation or entertaining what they call niggas. On the average, I'm just saying. Next one. Okay. All right. Next one. But Brother Speak Pocket, she was in the business having a channel and I was providing useful her. Okay. All right. Brother Pro Speak, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. Hold on. Let me read one more comment. All right. Wait, who's this? All right. Hold on. I'm going to bring up 1 second, sir. What Pink Pill did was slow. Why wait until that Carrot passed and expose him? Yeah, that's another problem. Darling, her channel was for black women. Why? Okay. All right. Mr. Are you there, brother? I think your name's Simon. Hear me? Is that right? Hear me? Hear me, sir?
Yeah.
All right, hold on. Let me position. Oh, how you doing? So, well, I'll let you start the one on the bottom, and we'll work way up to Brother Bro Speak. Was you listening early to the stream, sir? You're muted. You're muted. Hear me?
Yeah, I caught some of it.
Okay. What can you imply from your understanding so far?
I just think it's kind of as it is with what black men you know say with the court law is an implicit sort of undeniable way of saying we don't agree with each other, basically. It's kind of like on a base level bullshit, but that's
Okay.
that was just my initial thoughts on what I saw.
Okay. My question, Mr. Simon, in regards to the ladies, you think, let's say they are married to non-black men, right? And they still entertain black men on the side, right? you think that in a way that it gives more advantage? The no saying that most non-black men have no problem if their women mess around, in a way in regards to where cuckold, because when I looked at it, I'm thinking, you didn't hear cuckold. This is something that's a Eurosexual thing, that they don't mind that woman entertains
Did
other.
you say it's a Eurocentric thing?
Yes, cuckolding. Because have you around us that we don't want our woman messing around with other men and they're married?
No.
That's
No.
something they're accustomed to doing, and this is something I've known for a while, but I have to really go back and just say, you know what? It makes sense if they're able to get, let's say they're married out, they could still, commit what they call, the cheating thing.
What are you
Was
trying
that
to
really
get?
yeah?
Are you trying to imply that black women in the United States are supposed to sort of understand this sort of stuff?
Say it one more time. You sound low. Repeat what you said so I can hear you.
Are you trying to imply that the black women in the United States are supposed to understand what you're talking about?
I mean, if they're understanding, I mean, I have no control of it. I'm just implying of this the notion, that when we talk about the affairs and cheating, which is out here, I get it, but it lets you know, saying that, okay, you're in a relationship with this mate, okay, it should stay around, hopefully, and you should not be dabbling with black men that you say you hate or you're trying to promote. You get me? Now, regardless if it's true or not, okay, but it is known, a custom that if they do have affairs and they're in these relationships, it only takes so much.
That's because of you guys.
Okay.
Isn't that fair? I mean, it's a fair judgment to be said that black women have been accustomed to what they're accustomed to. Like, so,
Okay.
like, you guys have facilitated that shit. You guys go out here and it's like, oh yeah, well, you know, I got this girl. She's fat. She's
Mhm.
bad. She's this. She's that. Oh yeah, I'm gonna bring her to the trainer store. I'm gonna facilitate that shit. She ain't gonna tell me shit. She just gotta give you a look, and it's like, oh no, no, no. I don't want to detract back into my madness. I
Mm.
want to detract back to this feminine attribute that this woman has put me into. And that's just how it rolls. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, that's crazy. But,
Okay.
yo, that's what it is. And I'm not going to say it's good or bad. I don't know. I see whole niggas out here with some crazy plaits. They twist like plaits. Like, two weeks in a row. Like, you're telling me they ain't go to the hairdressers like their mama? Like, who? What is that? Like, men go to barbershops. You're not gonna go to a barbershop and go.
Have some man digger with their head and put plaques in the head. Yeah, you're right. You're right about that.
Ain't happening. Ain't
happening. Yeah, you're right about that.
You know what I'm saying? They'll be like, what? You want an extension in the barbershop? Okay, let's go. Let's go.
Let's go. Yeah, you're right about that. I ain't gonna lie about that. Yeah, no man go sit on and let no man braid their head.
So that's just something we need to sort of deal with black women. Is just like,
yeah,
that ain't something we got to level with, unless like you're willing to level with. But I ain't playing with that shit. I'm like, yo, I'm weighing up the calculus. Yo, how much are those braids per annum?
Yeah, it's gonna cost money.
Yo, you're looking at like what? I don't know, it's about 15K. So if you can't hold that up as a black man or as a man, don't even rock with these chicks, because on a basic level, I'm just saying. Okay. Shout out to Chris Rock, good hair.
Yeah, a good movie. People should watch it. I highly advise people watch it. Yeah.
Now take that shit out of your ways, bro. And if you can't do that, don't even play. You need at least like 65 or 85. Just be on the playing field. If you're rocking with one of these checks, that is like, yo, because they're gonna understand stuff that you don't understand. Because we're just, as I said, we're going into the barbershop. We just want to get a trim. Short back and sides. Fade. What's that? Like $25, $50, $20. Certain
I think now it's the price now. It's like $25 now. I mean, here in the US it went up.
Fucking credit crunch. So they raised up. But to be fair, they're business owners, and we got to pay attention to their rates. But that has not actually translated to women in terms of when they need to get their hair done. They ain't watching business rates. They ain't watching like what we do as black men in terms of just the hard knock day-to-day stuff. Watching our tax dollars on the payroll and going, okay, yeah, I can send you a certain change, regardless of if you want to be this immaculate, beautiful, hard-earning woman that can provide everything that I can't provide, but yet I'm in your situation and circumstance because you want that dick. But it's just like, okay, I can still do that. Like, I can still show you where the shop is that may provide you with lower income that gets your hair done. And most women appreciate that shit. If you could point a lady to get a better weave in a better town or a better, they will rock with me, because it's just most of their girls ain't telling them that shit because they're on some competition shit.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm gonna let you pause there for a second. Brother Bro speaks. What's on your mind, brother?
Oh, nothing much. I was listening to you talk about the pink pill and the cuckoldry, and I can attest to that because
Okay.
I deal with the swinger lifestyle, and yeah, yeah, those white dudes don't mind their women getting with other men and other
Hmm.
women. They don't
Okay.
have no problem with the hell. I mean, the stuff I've seen being in that side, it's like it. That's why I be like, when these black women keep saying that these white men are better and all kinds of stuff, I'm like,
Yes.
you really don't know what they really capable of, do you? But um and then my other thing, somebody said in the chat, black women have been more loyal. I think it's really just goes back to desire. They
Okay.
desire black men. That's why they don't date out.
Okay.
That's the main thing. So once that desire go out, yeah, then they date anybody.
Hmm.
So
Okay. Okay. Well, I'm not really saying that the loyalty is not there, but we all know, when it comes down to it, you're only loyal to your options personally.
mhm.
And I think when they said that they do have more children than normal or average black men, and the find if you have more children, that means you're going to have more children not by just a small pool that are able to, to have children with the sisters, but also other groups of men. You get me? And that was something that I covered a year ago, and that was real neat from some of the information, and I never thought of it to really think about. Say, okay, if they're having these children, right? By the small pool that they said is there, okay, and they have more than men, and that means it can't be just a small pool of black men that having children. They gotta have they also having children with other non-black men as well. You get me?
Right.
Because think about it. What makes sense that all right, marriage is the end game, right? But if you are not getting the ring, if you're seeking marriage, depending what age you are, but you have children first, then marriage, that's what's really going on now. That's still going on. It lets you know saying the mating dual mating strategy, what you're doing is backwards. You can I'm not saying everybody should really say if you get married, it's gonna be secure. No, everything goes wrong depending
Right.
on what you're trying to get out of it. But overall, most likely it makes sense to have the baby first and everything else falls second. You know, and you hear most of the dudes nowadays. You hear now a lot of them said they're not gonna play stepfather no more. So but it's funny they said that they don't mind playing stepdaddy for other groups of women. So they miss me with that bull crap. Let's be real. If you don't
Mm,
want to be a stepfather, find a woman that doesn't have kids, start a life. You get me? At least. At least. I
well,
don't want you to go to other groups of women that do have children, whether it's small or big, and you playing stepdaddy. You could have did that with black side of things.
well, they do it anyway. A
I mean,
lot of those dudes be capping about that. I'm not gonna play stepdad. Those dudes be capping. They lying to these women about that. They all be stepdaddies. Hell, my brother was stepdaddy
mm-hmm,
bunches of times.
mm-hmm,
They gonna be, if they found a beautiful woman, whether she black or not, they gonna be stepdaddy.
okay,
Well, they gonna play the role. They ain't really
okay,
stepdaddies because to me, uh, you sitting there watching the kid, you ain't teaching it nothing or providing for it like you
mm-hmm,
should. You're
mm-hmm.
not a real stepdaddy. You just a babysitter. And
That's
a
true.
lot of these dudes they'll play babysitter to all these kids.
Mm,
And
okay,
then when they get used up, because these women see that you're just here for the sex and you just playing a role, they're
mm-hmm,
gonna use you for all you work. And then they get mad. I'm like, dude, man,
yeah,
what do you expect? You playing a role, she gonna play the role.
mm-hmm,
And the kids know.
mm-hmm,
Look, I know the difference between a man trying to play a role and a man who actually want to be a stepfather. I had a stepfather.
Okay.
He wanted to be a stepfather.
Hmm.
He was trying to be a father to me. Unfortunately, he passed away before my mother could marry him.
Okay.
But he wanted to be a stepfather. The other men that she dated, they wasn't trying to be stepdaddies. They were just babysitters.
Oh, I
They
see.
they'll give you a little money, games. One gave my brothers weed, but actual being a stepdaddy, role model for a man, no,
Hmm.
none of them. They weren't trying to be that. So people can, and these kids are not dumb.
Hmm.
They know who gonna be the stepdaddy, who ain't, who's not trying, who's just playing a role. So yeah.
Mm. But one thing, brother, bro, speak. You think that the ladies know which dudes that they, um, on the average, are more suited to be a stepfather than to have their own biological children, on the average? You think they know?
Do I think? Well, the real question is, are they even asking to see if he want to be a stepdaddy or want to be a father?
Okay.
Dude, that's the real question. And my answer to that is most of them. I don't think they ask those questions.
Okay. 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 I mean, I look at it that I think ladies know the men that they actually want to be the provider roles at the end of the day, personally. Um, and the reason why I say is because they keep tabs and really study and deal with the men that they know. And like I said, they're the ones that they know who's the one that said, okay, I might have a baby with this one, or I might just stay around with this one because this one will look like it'll give me something in return. Um, I think that's how they think and how they wired to move about. Even to the point when you know is that, and there was some content I could have covered, like, and I could say it could be a skit for all we know, right? That you hear some dudes sitting there going out the way to go check if the child's his because he found information from his, I guess, either baby mama, girlfriend, wife, whatever. She was sending a message to her friends and kind of shitting on him in a bad way. And it made him feel way to feel say, if she was talking about it, what else that I don't know. So it makes him start doing some thinking, say, let me go check if this is my child. Which really now, most men today, especially when it comes to us brothers, we don't really go on our way to really check if we're in a relationship with our sniffing other, that if the baby that they produce is really ours. That doesn't come to our thinking for
No,
years now. Until now. Until now that men are being paying attention to detail now. And
well,
yeah,
think about it. How you gonna approach that question without the woman getting angry with you?
that's the problem. That's the big
And
problem.
that's
Yeah.
where it is, because I had a coworker. Him and her were messing around.
Okay.
She was doing her thing. He was doing her thing. They
Hmm.
would meet up. She got pregnant.
Okay.
She came to him like, "You're the daddy." He's like, "No, I need a DNA test
Okay.
because I know you were messing around just like I'm messing around. We're not in a relationship."
That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, she tried to get him fired.
Yeah. That's what I don't respect. You get me?
Yeah, so she tried to get him fired. Almost did, but after they investigated, they found out what she was trying to do. Um, Everybody ran her off because even they knew, like, wait, no, you were in a relationship. You weren't in no real committed relationship with him. You were messing around just like he was. Matter of fact, we knew the guy besides him, the other guy she was sleeping with.
Mm-hmm.
We already knew what the game. So we were like, he had every right to ask you for a DNA test to
Okay.
make sure that wasn't you getting your feelings, but you were out there. You wasn't in a committed relationship like that. So, he had every right. But most men are not going to do that because they don't want the aftermath of that.
Mm-hmm.
So, But now, I mean, it's like, hey, you don't have much of a choice at this point.
Hold on. Is that you, Kevin? You there, Kevin?
Yeah, it's me.
Okay, good. All right. Continue, bro, speak.
But yeah, like you said, there's a lot of fraud now, and a lot of women who are looking to take advantage of these guys because a lot of these dudes need sex. Some of these dudes need validation from women, and when they see that type of weakness, I mean, yeah, they're gonna run them up on them. I mean, so yeah, it will pay you, especially if you're not in a committed relationship with this woman. Yeah, you need to take that DNA test. It's mandatory. It should be mandatory to you anyway.
Yeah,
But I mean, but if you're in an actual relationship, yeah, most guys are not gonna do that because they in a relationship. They trust their woman.
Yeah.
But it's like now it's like I can see why dudes would want to. There's a lot of paternity fraud out there. And most people don't want to.
Yeah, they said about a third. Yeah, about
Yeah,
a
about
third.
a third.
Yeah.
We got too many cases coming up where women are committing these frauds, and these dudes are ending up having to pay for children that are not theirs.
Mhm.
Wait,
Yep. And
hold on, guys. Wait 1 second.
not a problem, bro.
Can you hear me, Jay Shine?
What's up, man? What's going on?
I'm good. I'm live stream right now. Hold on 1 second. Me myself. I'm still streaming live. I just picked up. Hold on 1 second, guys. Y'all can talk. Hold on 1 second.
But yeah, like Ace. So can you hear me, fam?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. So yeah, like it's one of those things where it sucks, man. And I find it interesting, when guys like AM1 tries to paint the space as incels, because you bring up stuff like paternity fraud, sexless marriages, etc. I'm like, these are dudes getting taken through the ringer. These are dudes that are clapping cheeks that are being taken through the ringer. These aren't dudes that can't get laid. These are dudes that are getting laid, that are getting, taken through the ringer. Which is what I find disturbing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, and that's why like when dudes be on here talking about, well, I got a woman, you ain't got no woman. I said, dude, that don't mean nothing to me because goofy dudes get women all the time. I mean, I've seen a bunch of goofy dudes have women. My brothers were goofy. They always had a woman around. And one of my brothers, his third child, if he would have took that DNA test, it might not have been his. Just saying. But again, if you rule by your penis, this shit, you run the risk of this happening, and you're not really thinking about who you're messing with, and you just dealing with these chicks, and you trusting these chicks way too much. Yeah, you're gonna get caught up.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. It's one of those things, man. It's very unfortunate, man. But yeah, like it's just like, I mean, my thing is this, especially when it comes to dudes that are like in like sexless marriages. Like my thing is this: is like if you're being a responsible man, like you shouldn't have to like.
Can you speak up a little bit, Kevin? Just a little bit. Come on,
Wait, can you hear me now?
I hear you a little better because I always have to go back for the playback. But go ahead, speak. You sound a little better. Go ahead.
Okay, perfect. Can you hear me better now?
Yes, I hear you better.
Yeah,
Okay.
You sound better now.
Okay. Yeah, that's what it's just. Here it goes. The volume on the media. Okay, perfect. Yeah, so it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, like if you're married, man, if you're like a responsible married man, like you shouldn't have to be like sex starved at all. Like that's like very disrespectful. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I can see if like you like gain like 150 pounds from like when you first got married or something like that, But if you're like around the same weight, you shouldn't have to like struggle. You know what I mean?
So you're saying, Kevin, if a man gets too fat, he shouldn't be asking for sex from his own married wife?
I'm saying like if you're handling your responsibilities, like if you're not being fiscally irresponsible or abusive, you shouldn't be like, it shouldn't be half a tall task to ask for your wife to like give you like a hand job or something like that. I mean, she's
Okay,
literally your
I
wife.
get
That's
you.
part of the deal. Like, come on, man. Like that's insulting.
Yeah, I don't. I honestly, I don't even know how people be in a sexist marriage because that was the last thing that was a problem when I was married was sex.
Exactly. It's like, yeah, yeah, and like I said, especially if you can prove definitively that you're in a sexist marriage, like that's legal grounds for divorce. Like
Mhm.
legally, that's for divorce.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of
Yeah,
guys think that. I guess for a lot of guys, they feel like not only are they afraid of getting taken through the ringer and divorced, but they also feel like no matter what, how can I put it? They feel like no matter what the woman does, he should be obligated to uphold his end of the bargain, no matter what. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's why they
right.
allow themselves to be in that situation.
Well, yeah, I can understand that because, like I said, the woman's everything. That's what we were taught. We were taught from the old heads. The women is the most important thing.
Mm-hmm.
Our needs are not as important, and so that's why, like in these marriages, these guys will stay in these sexless marriages. They'll go around and mess around, or they'll just sit there in these sexless marriages and be frustrated because you know, well, I one the money, like you said, but also is you got to start all over, and it's you know to to really when you're in a relationship like that, it's getting comfortable with the woman, trusting the woman, and it's like that takes time, and guys don't want to go through all that again, you know,
Yeah. You're right.
especially if you're marriage minded. You marriage minded, you don't want to go through that because that takes time, you know.
Yeah, like I said before, again, guys feel like they're obligated to do it no matter what. You know what I mean? It's like
Mhm.
to me, it's like, listen, I'm not against marriage. I'm just against like these unfair laws. You know, because to me, it's like a sacred marriage is a marriage that's a fair shake for both parties. You know what I mean? Like
Mm.
that's when you could say it's sacred because if it's not a fair shake for both parties, it's extortion. No matter how you try to paint it, one side's getting one side's getting extorted. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I can understand that because, like you said, we have no fault divorces, the alimony, and all that. And well, I'm not against alimony because if you look at the past, you know, when women got divorced, she, she got effed. She didn't get shit.
Hmm.
So
My thing
they
is this:
knew.
is like alimony makes sense again for if you're physically
But alimony makes
irresponsible.
sense for a lengthier time. You gotta be in it for almost pushing 15 or even 20 years to even claim that personally. And
Right.
most of the marriage on the average now in America, the average is 8 years. In regards to black
Right.
folks, it's under 5. So really the alimony piece, it don't make sense that you're in it for like less than that, very below that, and you think you're entitled to that. So we're good.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Like you said. Again, my thing is, especially with the alimony, especially with like the modern day man, you know, like women whatnot. It's like again, it's one of those things where again, it makes sense for women to get paid alimony, especially over a period of time if the guy's a degenerate gambler, you know, I
Mm-hmm.
can understand that. Or if he's like, physically abusive or whatnot, I would understand having to pay alimony, but just paying alimony just because y'all broke up, I mean, like that's stupid, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the law we in now, and it's and it is what it is. Like 10 years, they can get it, no matter what, unless it's
No,
like you said.
I would say this to really qualify for actual alimony, you got to put in at least 15 years or more. I would say 20 years is the great sweet spot. And I said this on one of my previous episodes, and I'll probably put a link to it, that in regards to how to deal with the divorce problem in America, I would say for you to get anything, you got to put in decades, you know, and to really get full, you got to put in roughly almost close to 30. It has to be 30, but it has to be close to that to get like a full benefit of the alimony, you know. And when I say almost close to 30 years, is that your children are adults. Your wife might not, have being different, and eventually you don't want to stay. It's fine. It's not no hurt because you put in a lot of time and sacrifice. You get me?
Yeah, I was about to say, listen, like to me personally, I think the alimony should last no longer than 2 years, like tops. You know what I mean? Because
Okay.
again, like lifetime alimony, get the fuck out of here. Like, get the
there should be no lifetime of anything. Personally, I think if you put in more, and I lay this out in detail. I don't believe in the lifetime thing. I could be wrong because I did this content like back in 2022, I believe, and I had to look at the numbers and saying what men make or what they potentially make and what their wives do, whatever. That said, this should not be something where you're just going constantly think this is an instant retirement plan for life. You get me? Is if you've been productive, him productive, because let's be honest, people work for a living, right? That whatever you do, you came into it. If you came with something, you should be able to sustain yourself if you're getting something from the side from your husband. If you're unable to do that, I would say don't get divorced.
Exactly, because
a good example.
Remember, like we do have 401ks. You know, we have 401ks and like Roth IRAs and stuff. So it's not like we don't have things like savings accounts. Like we have stuff that already exists. So it's like, again, it's like it doesn't make sense, you know.
Yeah. And here's a good example. When Dr. Dre finally got divorced from his wife, and I don't like using celebrities, but we gotta go there because there's no one else to fall onto. That he had a prenuptial agreement with his wife of 24 years, right? And if you look at how she broke the contract, regardless of that she said this man was outside the marriage, whatever. I said if that was the case, you should have walked out a few years ago and got more than your bargain. But because you stayed in it, since you say he did this, and eventually you now decided to cut ties that the children are so-called adults, and you've been doing some criminal acts, i.e. embezzlement in the family, and you have a prenup, you're lucky to get some out of the deal because that is a criminal charge.
Exactly.
But you see, she's a lawyer and she was able to finagle to get some out of the deal. But let's be honest, to get 100 million and get some property, that's not like he's going to get that every year. That's a payoff. And if you look at the amount of money she spends a month, because this was done in detail, how much money she spends a year while was married to said Dr. Dre, she was blowing $24 million a month.
And I'm thinking, you said 24 million a month?
Yes.
Jesus Christ. I'm like,
so I'm thinking, what are you as a woman? And remember, Dr. Dre's not a billionaire yet. He's almost there. But even if he was a billionaire, even people that got money like that are not going to be blowing millions and millions of dollars a month like that. I don't know any non-black person, last time I checked, unless it's a really business expense that they can write off and make some of it, they're going to blow money like that.
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah. I see why you say he was glad to get rid of her. I'm like, 24 million a month.
24 million a month.
Did she get the fuck out? Yes. I'm like, I would be celebrating too. Yes, get the fuck out.
Let me pay you off. Here's this 100 million. Get away from me.
God, exactly.
24 million.
Talk about she's gonna be poor in like a year. Talking about I don't get no money. It's like no, like you had $100 million. Like what? Get out of here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's crazy, but but that's the law over there in California.
I mean, I'm not sure who else is getting divorced in California, but I'm hoping people, any state that has rules like that, I said that's the last state to get married. You know, I mean, if I meet someone, and I would not be living in California, I'd probably be very mindful of certain states that give women that incentive. Personally,
ironically, I was about to say, ironically, man, it's Illinois is as corrupt as the cops are in like Cook County and stuff like that. Ironically, it's Illinois that has the fairest alimony laws. The woman gets 90 days alimony max, which is why you don't see a lot of Chicago. Why you don't see a lot of good quarterbacks playing for like the Bears, because like I think Tito was talking about is how like a lot of these like superstar quarterbacks, their wives be like low-key talking about a plan for Chicago because they know, like, if they get divorced, they get 90 days of alimony max. So
Oh wow.
that's the reason why Chicago's always turning out terrible quarterbacks.
Mm.
Didn't know that. I did not know that.
Mm.
Mm.
Yeah, man. That makes sense. Go over there. 90 days. That's it.
Aren't you from Chicago? Brother Bro Speak. Aren't you from there?
Who? Me? No, I'm from Texas.
Are you from there? Okay. I got it.
Yeah.
Mix up. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I don't think ours is that bad. You know,
Mhm.
I know it's fair than California. I know that. I'll put it that way.
Mhm. Uh-huh. Okay.
I know, like here in Ohio, like unmarried fathers basically have like literally no rights to their children, like at all. You know,
Okay.
that it sucks, and that's another part too. It's like, which is why I laugh at when these people are always talking about trying to fight the deadbeat dad problem. It's like, first of all,
Mhm.
we know and we can empirically verify it's literally like a very small percentage of these that are legitimate deadbeat dads. And then number two, how are you going to complain about deadbeat dads when you like assign the woman custody like 90% of the time in
Mhm.
divorces, in like I think 70+% in like non-marital situations? Like, you
Mhm.
give the woman sole custody the vast majority of the time, but you're complaining about deadbeat dads. Get the fuck out of here. You know,
Mhm.
like, if you really cared about the children so much, why don't you just have just have split custody?
Or co-parent. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. An obvious solution, which a lot of them ironically will try to emotionally try to guilt trip you out of promoting, because again, it goes against that whole helpless victim narrative. Same thing when it comes to school choice. You always hear these stories about these teachers claiming that they're overworked and overpaid, but
Yeah.
they'd be the main ones telling you about how school choice is bad, even though empirically speaking, like, the shit works. Like,
Yeah, it
it's
does
it's
work.
extremely
It works.
effective. So
Yeah. It does
yeah.
work. Yeah.
hmm
It really
But yeah,
does.
going back to what the chick was saying earlier in the chat, was it Darling Emity?
Mhm.
Um, you know, a lot of chicks who make the statements that they do. It's like, listen. Okay, the reason why what we say in this space is so controversial is because, again, it's like most of what we're saying is accurate, and that's the real reason why it's controversial. It's not because we're lying; it's because what we're saying is accurate. It's like, listen, like you said, chaos.
Mhm.
Men prefer natural beauty. Just ask all the strippers. You know,
Yeah.
like, if
As
you're
natural as possible. You know what I'm saying? No one said
yep,
that
as natural as
wearing makeup
possible.
is not. It's like usually there's time of day for every little thing. You get me? But mostly overall, if people were paying attention to detail, they like to see natural beauty as possible. Now, in regards to the defense of Darling Ebony, when talking about when these women are dating non-black men, they come a natural state, which is good. But if you're only doing that for these set of men, then obviously you could do this for the black man, regardless what his thought about you or what he thinks it feels. You do it anyway because usually natural beauty is a must.
Well, listen. Well, and again, the problem is that, how can I put it like this? And again, it, it, how can I put it like this?
Mhm.
The reason why you get so much pushback is not because you're doing something wrong with that. It's because you're not white. Okay. The reason why they always have such a negative pushback against you is because you're not white. Okay. It's not because you're this like raving misogynist that like hates women. It's like, no, it's because you're not white. Okay. But they can't say that because that sounds horrible, and it sounds like, basically minstrelsy. You know what I mean? So what they gonna try to do is they try to cloak the argument behind this whole self-righteous, oh, all black men are fails, and they just, we're all just these raving misogynists that need to be tamed. It's like, no, it's not. It's you. You have weak character, weak mind, low self-esteem, etc. And because it's easier to blame, brothers for why you do what you do, that's what you do. You know, it's nothing more than low hanging fruit. So, like, because listen, again, anybody with two brain cells that can rub together knows that most of these niggas are not tripping about a chick wearing like like a wash and go or some twist outs or like some braids or something like that. They're not tripping. In fact, if anything, they promote it. Okay, it's the fact that again, it's they listen. They live in these echo chambers. Okay, with where they get a lot of their life advice from women that are like hostile and delusional, and because their idea of femininity is centered around being antisocial towards us, anytime that somebody comes along and says something that's genuinely profound that doesn't center around being antisocial towards us, they reject it, because their ego can't handle it. It's not that it's not true, it's that their ego can't handle it. So again, that's the reason why this space is always controversial.
Okay. All right. Cool. Mr. Coach D. Darrell Spears, welcome.
What's up, brother? How you doing? What's up, brother? Speak.
Yes.
What's up, D. Darrell?
Hey, man. So, what we talking about? Women's beauty, natural versus
I mean, no.
superficial?
If you listen earlier, in regards, I said earlier about the form cuckolding, and in regards, I had to double down in regards to the exposure of Mr. David Carroll, and I know a few other content creators have said otherwise about the good Uncle David Carroll, and I still hold claim that still he did play as double agent, regardless how we look at it. But my biggest issue, because I had this conversation with Faith, and she kind of brought another aspect to it that I had to really now look at this more broader. That when women, if they're able to get into these interracial relationships, right, that it is another form of cuckolding, because other groups of men don't mind their women mess around, in a way.
Okay.
And I don't want to say that, but when I look at how they deal with and view relationships and how we view relationships, totally different. You get me? You're never gonna find black men in mass numbers that say, we married to my woman, and my woman goes talk to another man and tells him in front of us that he wants to have intercourse with him, and her man doesn't mind, even to the point her man might even watch the action. That's
Okay.
not the psychology of black men overall. But is it to these groups of men? Is a known custom. So think about it. Now she's able to engage in a real polyamorous relationship. You get me? Cause think about it. That's one thing she want to force it on black men. You get me? This dual main strategy. And I don't like talk about it, but I'm thinking about saying, what better way to engage in more if the black man's down with it, not down with it, another group of men would be if you can get him, and he will have no problem. You get me? Because that's their thing. So think about it. About it. And it's funny, but let's really have this conversation. That listen, you've been married. She's been married for a good long time, long marriage, wonderful, right? And all of a sudden it fractured because the man divorced, from what is said out there, right? Okay, so I'm thinking, and Faith, had this conversation. I have to think critically: is this the reason why your marriage faltered, or is something much deeper? Because usually you put out content talking about against black men to sell a product, which is a good business strategy, but it's more that you're still entertaining having a conversation with mostly black men in these panels and stuff, and you're not around in their other community having these conversations. You're still interacting with us niggas, especially black men. I'm saying, damn, I never thought of it that way. So it seems you still entertain black men. Now I think about it, and I had to really think critically and deep. I said, what? It makes sense she could still do this, because in their racial group, they deal with what we call cuckolding. And now it makes sense. Now, if you want to go into detail this or combat or refute what I'm saying, please, I'm listening to you, Darrell. But good, this is what I'm getting at.
Well, as it involves relationships, as far as polyamorous relationship, that's like a small, minute percentage of any group of men that participate in stuff like that. I do think that as far as men allowing their women to have sex and things, that's a minority too. I would say that there's a certain percentage of men of a certain wealth that may like to indulge in those type of things, but the overall majority of men of any group would not do that kind of thing. I just think that there's probably particularly in the European cultures, you may see a lot of that more than Black or African people per se. But when I look at relationships and things like that, I like to focus on what like is typical, what's average, what you typically see. I understand that on YouTube and I interviewed a girl on my dating coach channel, and she talked a lot about polyamorous. She's in a polyamorous relationship with 3 women and 1 man, and that's just not typical.
Oh wow!
Like, yeah, and so she actually asked me about interviewing her again, but I'm probably going to decline it because I feel like with my channel, that's not the type of relationships that I'm trying to promote. Yeah,
Okay.
and it's just not realistic. I mean, the reality is that there's only a small amount of people that are going to be interested in doing a consenting and knowingly consenting to a polyamorous relationship, and even the very few people that participate in polyamorous relationships, the majority, I would say 90% of those or more of those relationships are not going to be successful. And when I say that is that how many polyamorous relationships do you see of people 50, 60, 70 years old, and you got 1 man with 3 women, or 2 men and 2, you don't see. That's not. We got to be realistic, man. And so my position is that I'm about looking at the traditional, looking at relationships from the traditional sense, meaning 1 man, one woman. I think that we give too much. We don't focus enough on that, and people like to focus on the things that are the alternative as opposed to what is the majority. And it's out. I don't care what culture you're from, where you're at, what race. We're trying to be functional with 1 man and 1 woman in a relationship. That to me is, the standard. And when you look at polyamorous stuff, those relationships, most of the women don't stay. They're going to want a man for themselves, and they're going to get tired of dealing with that. It's usually a temporary way of not dealing with the reality that you can't function in a monogamous relationship. That's basically what a lot of these relationships entail. They're a group of people that they have 1 man with this amount of women, or this woman with men, and or whatever type of combination, and they are they put a label on it to try to legitimize it, but it's really whoremongering. It really is. And they don't. It's about not wanting to function in a monogamous relationship. And I'm not saying you have to, as long as people are honest with each other and so on. I mean, I'm all for whatever a person thinks works for them, as long as you're being honest to your partner or partners. But we all know in those situations, people don't practice truly being truthful about everything, and so that's kind of. I mean, I'm gonna say this. All my years of dealing with relationships in a professional level, I've only had 1 polyamorous relationship. 1 with 1 man and 3 women, and they were I want to say they were Muslim. Okay. And shit didn't work. There was all kinds of issues going on.
Wow.
And what the issues were is that the women didn't want, even though I think a couple of them, I think 2 of them were bisexual. 1 was totally straight.
Okay.
And the guy and even and it was actually the bisexual women that actually were more about, hey, yeah, we can have fun here with each other and do things, threesomes and all that kind of stuff. But they really were about wanting ownership of the man, competing for more time and attention and finances and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And so that it's just not what when we look at it just in reality. Most people are not going to agree to that. Most black women are definitely not going to agree to that.
Mm.
So it's entertaining to look at, but it's just not realistic. It's just not. But I'm more about as a community, we having productive relationships between black men and black women, and looking at the obstacles that prevent that, and how do we come with solutions to correct that. We already know the problems. We hear the problems every day. I would like to hear more shows about the solutions.
I agree.
And so in the solutions is what should be talked about, and putting those solutions into practice, because that's actually where the real work is done. It is solutions, and practicing those solutions, and applying those solutions to the relationship.
Mhm.
And I do think in certain spaces, particularly this space and in manosphere adjacent
Mhm.
spaces, if they talked more about solutions and application,
Mhm.
I think they would have the ears of more women than they think if they would do that.
Okay.
I mean, stating like, say, give me an example. Like, okay, you just talked about one, right? I think this is an important thing as far as what attract black men. If most black men are attracted to natural beauty, right?
Yes.
Why is it that you are refusing to adjust to that and continue to wear things that we do not prefer? That kind of goes against the whole law of mating. Mating is to when animals they give off certain scents and different things, or they do certain things to attract the opposite sex. Not I choose to do what I want and then you just have to like it. That's unnatural.
Yeah.
That is not natural. I mean, all species do certain things to attract the opposite sex, except for us. We have a tendency like, well, this is what I like, and this is what you have to learn to like what I like. Now, I'm gonna say this, 'cause I don't know. I know Brother Speak may remember this. He's closer to my age, and the kids. I know you're a little young, but Brother Speak, you remember when Weaves first became popular in the early '90s, right?
Yeah, I remember.
What did guys do when they first saw it? What did they do?
They were clowning the shit out of it.
And what did the women do? What did they do regardless of that happening?
They kept wearing it.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. Right?
Wow.
And see, that's the issue. And so when we look at this from a deeper standpoint, from a deeper psychological standpoint, we got to look at why is it that if the social interaction produces a response from the black males that is unwanted, you psychologically continue to do it anyway. And so from a psyche standpoint of the black woman, we have to look at the imprint of self-hate that is personified in our community, that this is preferential, even though your men may say this look crazy, but you still, from a psychological standpoint, will continue to wear something or do something that is not seen as being beautiful. And so black women don't come into the world with this. This is something that is learned, and this is socialized and taught.
Mm-hmm.
So if we want to change this, then we have to, based on who you marry, who you have children with, discuss how you want your children to develop an esteem in which they like their natural self.
Mhm.
and that's not done in our community.
You're right.
And so, like, I can remember this. I can give you an example. When I had two kids before I got married,
Okay.
and I had two girls. They're in their 20s now.
Mm-hmm.
I told my wife that I did not want my kids putting perms in their head. I don't want their hair straightened. I want them to grow up and love their natural hair. And when they get of age, they will decide what they want to do with their hair. Right?
Okay.
You know where the fuss came from? The fuss came from other female family members. Why didn't you do something with their hair? They didn't, this was not men. It was not men. It was not men saying that they need to do so. It was women saying they need to do something. No, notice this. I want you to understand how significantly important this is. And this is something that is repeated in our community.
Okay.
Women will say, I need to do something with my hair.
Okay.
That I know it sounds simple, very simplistic. I know it just sounds, just typical of someone saying it, meaning they need to get their hair done or get their hair styled. But what that is basically saying is that I don't like the way my hair naturally looks. So I need to alter it to look like something else.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
so in order to change that, we got to change the culture. Because nobody comes into the world with these ideas. These ideas are learned. These ideas are modeled. Little girls model those that are older than them, women and so forth. Men, we model. If we don't have a father, we're modeling other men in other spaces, positive or negative. And it's the same thing. And so, yeah, there were several family members that did not like the fact that I did not want my kids' hair permed. And the reason why is because I understood the damage that perming your hair would do long term. I understand that perms have what's called a product called iron oxide that is acid. And
Yeah.
that should not be put in your head. And our community has a fascination with straight hair. And that's culturally, it's not totally our fault because that's part of that is the majority culture and American culture and things like that, and wanting black people to conform and assimilate. And I get that. This is stems from slavery and just us trying to assimilate socially. But you notice the majority culture has always had an issue with us being our natural selves. And so this stuff is personified as far as in our culture, we see people who have noticed a lot of the people that are on television, people that we deem in our community that are the most successful, they actually exhibit alterations of themselves that reflect the majority culture.
Right.
And that's just a fact. They putting on wigs, they putting different eye coloring and stuff, and even the hairstyles are European like hairstyles and wigs and weaves and all that different stuff. And I just think that if we want to change that, then we have to, when we engage in relationships as men, dictate and to lead in not allowing our girls and our children to grow up with that mindset. So when they become older, this will be something that they will naturally want to do without them feeling like they're pressured or they have to follow something that they see on TV or another culture. We have to create that change. It's too late when they're older and then it has to be something within themselves once they become an adult that they decide to do this themselves. For many it's too late. We have to create the culture of that.
I'm gonna ask you a question when you get a chance, Leader.
Yeah, sure.
I said this earlier. The somewhat significance and the necessity for a lot of fathers that they should be somewhat still present in the development of their children. I said this earlier in the broadcast, and I'm not sure if you could vouch for this or go in detail. Of I said that if you are a man that has children, boys or girls, it is very incumbent to you. You have to be involved as much as possible in their development psychologically. You know what I
Right.
mean? Especially when it comes to the boys and the girls, because let's be honest, you have to make a constant emphasis why you do not want your children to or have the thinking that their natural hair as is not good enough, and that they should change it, alter it, just to please others, for a reason. And you have to be involved for that. But let's say some dudes either decide to walk out, whatever case may be, right, or
Mm-hmm.
they get kicked out, wherever the scenario is. That involvement is very important because you leave an impression for your own seeds to know and saying, regardless of the situation, you're always there, somewhat present, and you make the best possible. So that way, they don't really go through this journey and being, I guess, acculturated by one sex in regards how to function. That they will see some form of standards and some remnants of understanding, meaning that there's some discipline and understand that you as a father, you're going to set the notion, you know, so that they feel they're not missing out, that they up here and then have to compensate, through either images or even the mother in regards how to function.
Right.
So, yeah.
And I mean, media images, technology. I know I know when I first really studied this when I was in college, and that was a psychologist by the name of Malife Ashanti that talked about psychotechnology and how it affects black people. And it talked about the imagery of black people assimilating by getting their noses reshaped and bleaching skin, hair and different things to look more European, and how those who did that became more successful, and those that didn't, were not as successful. And so that there's a level of reinforcement that is received by doing those things, and um, a lot of that is psychological. And the thing about it is that um the majority culture really does not want us to value being black. They want us to mimic, and they feel like they're more comfortable when we do things that are similar to them. And that's been a struggle of what black people have to deal with in our existence, is that the group of people, the ruling class of this country, don't want black people to be black. They want us to assimilate and show some level of assimilation that's similar to them to make them feel comfortable. That's why you have people that work in certain professional settings that change their hairstyles and certain things. The issues with kids in school with braids and dreadlocks and those things are frowned upon because those things are distinctively African, and that doesn't make the majority culture feel comfortable. But um, I feel that if we start children off young with this mindset, then it would just be an aspect of living and beauty and developing their beauty, as opposed to thinking of ways to alter it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can I can agree with that because especially about the hair thing. Because I know when I was even when I grew up, like if my hair was growing long, my mother, she was a cosmetologist, so
Hmm.
she had mainly white people hair. She saw it was growing out. She said, "Oh, you trying to look like an African?" And I'm like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, so if I didn't cut it, kept it cut, yeah, she would be like, "Oh, you look like an African. You look
Mm-hmm.
like a wild man," or something like that. So I can understand that, and that came from my mother. My father didn't really care.
Mm-hmm.
So I could see, but I can understand from perspective because again, she worked with white people. That's all she do. White. She did mainly white people hair.
Mm-hmm.
The perms and all that. She didn't do the braids and all that stuff. That was too much. Um, so and I think the reason why like when these women say, well, these men like the weaves, I think black men just accepted it because again, economically they were not in the position to control these relationships. They depended on the woman. So so even if he didn't like that type of hairstyle, what he's gonna say? He depended
Right.
on her,
Right.
So that's why and then, a lot of times these women see like the rappers and stuff like that. They are liking that hairstyle. Those women that they be around have that type of hairstyle, so they think that all black men like that. And I'm like, that's not really the case.
Nope.
Some of us just accept it because they want to be with the woman, and they just accept what it is, and they're not in a position to say no. It's also like when they say that the men like the women heavy. It's not that the men like them heavy. They like a shape. They didn't like them like like huge and all that kind of stuff. And but again, because they're not in an economic position where they needed to be, in a mental position they needed to be, they just accepted it.
Right.
And and you accept it long enough, you condition yourself to like it. I think Tariq Nasheed said something about that. You eating Roman noodles and stuff in college because or just in general, you grow a taste for it.
Right.
You stop, you able to make more money and not eat that stuff. You don't eat that no more.
Right.
And I think that's what you see happening. I think a lot of black men just accepted it.
Right.
They accept them being heavy. They accept them with different hairstyles instead of just because they ain't not in the position to do that. Now you got the men who I guess frustrated in the manosphere saying, "Hey, we didn't like that." And I mean, how you gonna tell her when you got this dude who's accepting it, and this dude, and then you see the rappers dealing with women who have that type of hairstyle and stuff. It's like how you gonna tell her any different?
Right.
So it's yeah, but like you said, it does have to start with in the home with the father, making sure that both the boys and the girls understand. Hey, your hairstyle is what that that's you. Now, if you want to cut it, that's you. But if you want to let it grow, that's you, and you just fine the way you are. And if people don't like it, oh well.
Right.
Of course, I mean you're gonna have schooling where kids are gonna be cruel. It's just kids are cruel. We I mean,
Right. Right. Right.
but you as a parent got to reinforce that you are okay how you are, as long as it's not um, detrimental to yourself.
Right. Right. Exactly. So, I mean, I think that there is what I've seen over the last probably 15 years, there is a movement. Like I see a lot more women natural than I did when growing up. I hardly seen any women natural. And I see a lot more women that are natural. But in that, you see a lot of extremism with wearing weave. You know
Right.
that's the issue. You're seeing a growth in women who are natural, but then you're seeing the extremity of women wearing weaves down to they back and everything. And for me, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't have a real issue with weave. I really don't. But this is the issue I have. Um, I have an issue with it being just, not as far as the hair, the color of the weave matching your natural hair. And I don't like long hair. I really don't. I'm really not into women that have really long, like the long weave. I'm fine if it's like to your shoulders type of thing.
Yeah.
But when you got shit down your back, all the way down your ass, and it's all that's not. I don't like. I'm not into that. I really don't like the long bundles and all that. That's not. I like something that looks believable and fit your. If you do get one, I'm okay if it matches your natural color of your hair and it's believable, meaning to your shoulders or neck or whatever. Not it's all the way down to your knees, and I don't find that attractive.
Yeah. I'm kind of the same way because when my ex she got weave, she got braids. It wasn't like going down to her back. It was just like to her shoulders. But I also liked her natural hair. It's just that, she didn't want to take care of it like she should.
Right.
And part of that was because she had ear infection. So water get in her ears.
Oh
She
wow.
gets sick. Yeah.
Another thing I never thought about, and this is something that I think is that I talk to, like when I talk to women about that, and particularly my wife or other women, they talk about how it's more expensive to treat and maintain natural hair than using other types of weaves and stuff like. I found that very interesting. But they're saying that it actually is more expensive with the products to maintain natural hair than for you to alter it and use weaves and wigs and stuff like that.
It, it, I can see that because again, you know, if you really want to be natural, mean natural products, yeah, you're gonna have to spend some money to get to
Yeah.
that, and you got to and then you got to see what works and what don't work.
Right.
That's another thing too, because it's one thing that you want to go natural. It's another thing to find a product that actually works with your hair, because not everything's gonna work with the hair.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I can see why they would say that's more expensive than, okay, you just put the weave on and do it that way.
Right.
Especially if they working. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you working, you're not gonna have time to be fixing your hair all the time, and so it's kind of like, I feel for women because I know a
They
lot
have
of
a
women.
lot to deal with.
Yeah, but some of them do come up there with some crazy hairstyles. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
lady, just last week you had short hair. How you getting hair past your shoulder? Come on, man. Really? Come on.
Women love multiple. They like multiple looks.
Yeah. I'm fine with multiple looks, but come on, let's be at least make it look at least believable. Someone make it. I'm like, wait a minute, you just had short hair last week. How you get long hair? Come on, lady.
I mean, a
Easy.
lot of men, they're going to overlook this because they're looking at sexual access. So they know that, hey, I got to deal with this. If this is going to mean I can go, she going to be there for me sexually.
Yeah, you.
I'm going to overlook this.
Yeah, yeah, I know. I know. I'm kind of
Let's just be real about it.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of men are willing. I mean, I know as a younger man, when I was, a lady could have blonde, and I'm not even. I actually don't even like blonde hair on black women. I think blonde hair on black women look horrible. But I'm gonna be honest. There's a few women that had blonde hair that I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to deal with this for tonight.
You You know what's funny? The one that if they got colored hair, the one I like is the gray hair, like kind of like what Storm has.
Uh-huh.
I like that hair. That seemed to fit a lot of black women better. I don't know why.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, blonde, especially if she more dark skinned,
Right.
it don't look right, man. And I got coworkers that come up there with the blonde hair, and I'm just looking at them like that really don't work with your hair. I mean, with your skin, it don't work. And I'm like, it's weird to me.
Right. It is. I just think that.
Wait, before you guys can hello? Before you guys
Yeah,
continue, I see more people. What's good, everybody? Thank you for liking the video, like always, and like always, throw some coins or donations to the channel. I would lovely appreciate it. As you know, I put up there in the screen. But you guys can continue.
I think that when we look at that, the multiple hair looks. I mean, the thing about it, we don't control that industry, and we should control the black hair. Man, it's everything. I feel like we should control every industry that's distinctive to black people. And the reason why I think that black hair care products, the natural products, are high is because we don't control the market.
yeah. I think they're starting to. I think black women are starting to get into it and starting to
Right.
have a little more control of it, and that's a good thing because I, you know, the people who are selling this stuff is really controlling the standard of beauty.
Yeah, and it's
And if they if black women are not controlling it, and we're not trying to control it, and to me, I don't think it's kind of like, do black men really want to control that like that?
right.
Because I've had dudes who say, "Oh, if you get into hairstyling and stuff like that, you must be,
Gay.
with the rainbow people." It's kind of like, okay, do we want to get in that field, or do we want to let the help support the women in that field and let them take it over?
I'm gonna say this. The owners of uh her happy hair or she's happy hair or something like that. Those guys are black that own that company, and they're
Mhm.
like the most success. They're like the most successful in the city with he. I mean, is it she's happy hair or whatever they call it? They have the little commercials, but they get their stuff from Brazil. But they have a person. They kind of the X'd out the middleman. They don't go through because the Koreans and all they have a lot share of that industry. They go straight and deal with people in Brazil and other countries to get the hair and all that. They don't deal with any middlemen themselves. But everybody can't, don't have the resources to do that though. But
Right,
I think that on the business side of it, I do think that black men should get into that industry. But as
right,
far as the creative side of it, as far as the hairstyles and stuff like that, or the different things that women use for their hair to comb their hair and style it, I think women should be more into. So as far as the creative side of what's in vogue or what's beautiful, and as far as the artistry of it, I think because
right.
they know their hair, they know how just dealing with women with hair and stuff, they understand what that entails. And
Yeah,
us as men, we I think as women just are able to relate to other women about that.
right. We should be more in the background.
Yes,
Yeah, yeah,
because I'm
yeah.
actually because I'm actually thinking about getting into the hair care industry. Um, if I decide to do another venture, I'm thinking about doing
Mm-hmm.
a black hairstyle store or something like that, hair store with nothing but products for black women.
Yeah, that'll be good. That'll be good, Didro.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't hurt, jumping into that field. I mean, a lot of people say that a lot of black men should be controlling the hair personality, the hair side of things for black people's hair, especially black women. One
Right.
thing I would say is more of the oils and stuff, but not like the fake hair. And I remember there was one video that I could have pulled up on where people getting their hairs from, and they're not just getting it from human hair. Mostly they're getting it from other animals, like all parts of the animals. Some from the things like the private parts of certain animals or any other species that you just don't know where you're getting your hair from. And really, be honest with you, it makes more sense because that's cost efficient. You get me?
Right.
Because fine hair nowadays from certain groups, rather from the Indians, Asians, or whatever, they're more looking at saving money. And if you got an influx of animals, rodents that have strictly silk hair, all you need is a dozen of them to strip off, and you can make and combine it to make it as so-called human quality as effortless. You get me? So,
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Go think about it. Remember, think about it. Was it? I think was it Shea Moisture? They do with body. I think they do hair as well. And really, it's the product to keep people's hair nice and moist, soft, and etc. But really, truly, let's say women get these product hair to maintain the natural hair oils. That's good, but mostly, the money really is in actually getting the fake hair because easy, simple. You could glue it, sew it on. Hell, you could put it over your head. What they call the stupid hair hack, or. But overall, natural beauty is a must. You get me? Only thing you need is the natural parts to maintain the hair instead of buying all this, artificial hair. I know. And mind you, I hear the conversation that other race of women wear fake hair, and I say, yeah, but they wear actual clip-ons. They don't really buy actual hair. You get me?
Right.
And if they do buy actual hair, they are buying hair that is naturally designed for their anatomy, which is straight.
Right.
They're not gonna say, I'm gonna buy kinky, coily, that actual good hair. Not that straight hair, because that straight hair is not good hair. I mean, let's keep it real. When people talk about good hair, I mean, that's program.
Yeah.
Because if
to me,
the hair was
good
so
hair is
wonderful
filthy.
and
It's
good,
filthy hair.
if it was one for good, like they said it is, okay. So why are they demonizing your hair? Even to the point, even it grows out your scalp, they don't want to see your natural hair as a black person.
Yeah.
I find it says bad. So you tell me I should go purchase your hair or some of possibility of what is on your head? I'm confused. You get me? But it feeds the notion of the self-hatred. They program our people, you know what I'm saying? They keep reinforcing everything's bad about it. So what black people subconsciously do, and you know as your psychologist, they will buy these things, Oh, thank you for them. I think I had some weird emojis. I know I got that on my channel. That's new. All right, but that's me. You get me? Yeah, I do got it. Oh, why I don't see it on my channel? What the hell? I don't got these emojis. I see them now. Interesting. Yeah, I see them now. Xander, let me pop you up.
What's up, Xander?
I'm not monetized, Xander. Maybe that's why I can't see it on my channel. Let me check my other window. I got you. Let me check my other window. I don't know why I don't see it. That's
I see planes and stuff, but that's about it.
No, I see like the hearts. I see the what do they call it? The a bunch of emoji. Xander, can you do that again? Y'all guys talk as I look in the chat room. One more time, Xander. I saw something. Do it again. I think it's the cell phones. The cell phones come with it, most likely. I mean, it depends, but that's cool.
Hey guys,
I like
I'm gonna hop off the panel. Thanks for having me up.
Yeah, I like that. That's cool. I like that. That's cool. Anyway, yeah, we get my point. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
Like I said, man, I gotta hop off the panel, man. Thanks for having me up.
All right, brother. Good to hear from
thank
you.
you. Thank you. Be careful.
Have a good one, man.
Yeah. I mean, but it is what it is. But overall, that's not really the focus, really. As you know, I don't invest time on my channel talking about the hair of women, especially black women. My thing is this: it's better to be natural as best as possible, and it's easy and convenient. overall. You know what I'm saying? Uh, like I said, as a man, I gotta deal with what I see in the environment. I ain't gonna like it. The only thing that there's a giver, if I had to say one thing I do not like about certain hair on the women, on our sisters, is I don't like the blonde hair. That I cannot deal. I don't know. If I had to give a take, I don't know, see that. No matter what skin tone you are, if you're a sister, black woman, etc., and you got blonde hair, I don't like it. I'm turned off on that. I don't like it. I hate it. That's me. I can't speak for other brothers, but I find it turn off to see that blonde hair. Oh no, that's no. Now they get mad all I want, but I say that is not cute. It's not sexy. It's not attractive.
Right.
No matter what complexion you are, that's for non-black people. Blonde hair. To see one of our women, and they could probably argue that some of the Aborigines got blonde hair, but I look at it as the Aborigines got curly, nappy, or what they call kinky hair. That
But yeah, that's that natural hair.
yeah, it's probably that, but not some that is straight blonde hair, like straight hair.
Yeah,
That's
but Aborigines have a unique genotype, so that's
they've been interbreed to be that now.
Yeah.
You get me? Yeah.
But a classic Aborigine has strong African features with straight hair. That that's what an Aborigine an Aborigine looks like. Just from that, they come from they migrated from Southern Africa, and they like any group of people that move away from their home genotype and they all live in a certain area, they develop to look different. That's the same thing that happened to Asians that came to North America. They look just like Chinese or Asian. Then over time they changed the way they look. And the Native Americans, they came from Asia. So and over time they began to have distinct features.
Yeah.
But that takes hundreds of years, of doing that, when you separate from, that kind of what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but my position is this, man. In this country, it's almost like there's a concerted effort to prevent black men from being economically independent, because that's where manhood is measured a lot.
Yes.
And also control how black women look. The two things that that people value: a man's ability to provide and a woman's beauty.
Yeah, you're right.
And that those are the things that are constantly being attacked on. So
Right.
I'm like this, man. As far as other people, we have to quit caring about other people think about us.
Yeah.
We care too much, man.
That is the biggest downfall of us, is that we
Yep.
care too much about people, especially people who really shouldn't even matter.
Facts.
And it's like, why do you care what this person think? They don't matter. And on top of that, we want to put, especially when we talk about white folks, we put them on a pedestal. It's like both sides do it.
Right.
And it's just like, for me, I'm like, I've been around these people. I can't put them on a pedestal. I've been around them. I've seen their flaws. I see how they treat their kids. I see how they treat each other. I'm like, you want me to put them on a pedestal? I can't do it.
Right.
Their beauty on a pedestal, I can't put them on a pedestal. I'm like, I've been around so many beautiful black women, and it's just like, well, I'm gonna put this white woman on a pedestal. It's like, nah, you good. I'm good. You can keep her. I'm not. It's just like, sorry, I can't do it. It's just, I don't see how some dudes do it. I mean, I can't.
Well, I could see why they'll put it, because let's be honest, when you're raised in this country and you're being indoctrinated to what is the standard, how to function, what's beauty standard, who's teaching it, it has detrimental effects on the psychology of the youth. adults. You get me? That's why we look at, and I always think, imagine if it was more people that's teaching our children that look like us. How far we would come in regards to self-respect instead of the lack of self-hatred. Because think about it, when Board and Brown education came around, that was in the mid-50s. But you know what happened before that? We had the dog test in 1950.
Right.
And they, from that study on, they said, well, if we put more of our people teaching, would mean non-black people teaching our black children, this will even heighten the possibility of even greater control because now the image is solidified. You get it? When they did the test again 50 years later, there should be no change because one thing, what only thing that's changed is that our children now, because they see less of them on TV, and they were groomed with no structure, it makes it more even easier now that they're gonna still pick the non-black dog than the black dog.
Right.
Yeah.
So every time they do this study, and remember, it was a black man that came up with the study to see where the psychology of our people at back then, before the advent of the process of integrating us in society within 15 years later. So if they already know that this is where we at mentally with our children, then it's obvious that we see ourselves less valuable a long time. You get me?
Right.
So knowing this, we had to be much proactive in us saying we had to take control of the image of ourselves. And it has to start with young people that don't see value in oneself because they're going to be the future boys and girls. That'll be men and women of the future. And if you take that away, you're going to have the same problems constantly,
Right.
over and over again. It doesn't matter what they view as beauty standards and stuff. It doesn't matter because they don't see themselves as beautiful from the start. So obviously they're going to do the opposite. So like yourself, Deidre, with your own daughters, I can see why your wife or baby mom, wherever your children you had, are going to fight you in regards to the image of what they should look like as women. Young women become women to not value what is naturally theirs. They had to cut that out from the start. They have to cut it out.
I agree.
Once you cut that out, now before they even hit teenager or they about to be teenager, they want to have the straight hair. They want to put some on their hair. They want to devalue their beauty. And as a man, and you as a involved father, you have to reassert the importance of the beauty. That's why I see a lot of fathers that do raise their daughters, that they don't emphasize putting all that fake stuff on their children. Because it tells you, and really, let's be honest, since we're going to go there, if you want to think that all that stuff you have on is the way to go, ladies, have a man that's raising his daughter. See what his daughter looks like. That's from a black woman. Do you see the daughters mostly have fake stuff on the whole? No. Because he knows the importance of self-esteem and respecting one's beauty.
Right.
That tells you right there. But like I said, if you're self-hatred by choice now, instead of trying to correct that, and there are ways to correct it, you have to understand the symptoms, why you think in a way, and correct it. And this applies not only for women, but also as men too. Then you make the conscious efforts to start change that and make the arrangements to fix that. And that's a process. That's always going to be an ongoing process because let's be honest, we're born bred into self-hatred. And it's going to take dedication to unbred it out of us.
Yeah.
But recognizing it is the battle in its own.
Yeah. And you gotta have, even as a young man, you gotta have women who value their beauty more than the society, because like I said, like me, I've been around black women and they do care about how they look. And so it was never me wanting to, so I guess I never seen that standard of beauty about the white women like that. I just, because I've had black women around me, so my standard of beauty was really like black women as opposed to white women.
Right.
But
Mm-hmm.
but as opposed to now, a lot of black men, them their mothers don't view themselves, and the women around them don't view themselves as beautiful in their own natural state. So if they're not going to view themselves as beautiful, then the guys are not going to view them as beautiful, which in turn they're not going to see the girls as beautiful. So it's kind of it's a it's a sick cycle, and like you said, the only way you're going to break that is that you get with those kids early and show them that their natural hair, their natural beauty is what it is, and like I said, not just with the girls, but with the boys too, because now you seen them with blonde hair and colored hair and all kinds of goofy hairstyles. I'm like, what the hell is going on with these dudes? I'm even seeing that in the prison. It's so bad that the warden got to be like, listen, they can't have all these crazy hairstyles. If they ain't got no crazy, if they got these crazy hairstyles, they can't go eat chow. They gotta eat on the cell block or on the door. That's how bad it is. And I don't know, it's crazy to me. I've seen these crazy hairstyles with the boy. I mean, the girls, they've been on it, but the boys are starting to get in. It's like, what is going on, man? I can't. I like that. I mean, like, I just like my fade when I got here, and and when now it's summer, it's about to be summer. I keep it bald, so I don't know. It ain't even just young men doing it; it's old men doing it too. Like, what is wrong with you old dudes? God.
Mm.
Yeah, like you said, it's coming from. I believe it's coming from a hatred of self. You don't like what you don't like yourself. You don't value yourself. You don't put yourself on a pedestal in a sense. That's why I didn't like that when I had that disagreement with Honest Truth about that whole thing. I'm like, dude, you putting them on a pedestal. Why don't you put yourself on a pedestal? But a lot of black men don't want to put themselves on that pedestal. They don't want to see themselves as powerful. They see white men as most powerful, and that's a problem. And so if they see the white man as powerful, more powerful than them, how they going to be able to do anything for the black woman? It's going to be a problem,
Right.
and that's going to affect all these. Now you got now that dudes are you seeing dudes are practicing polyamory with the woman, like they okay with sharing a woman now, like which hey, yeah, that's I don't know. It's coming from some self hatred and not being powerful in their own right. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But I think I stretched this long enough.
All right.
But any closing remarks?
Um, Thank you for having me on, man. I just want to say to you, brother, my sector TV channel I talked to you about, I changed it to
Yes.
D Darrell the Rebirth Live. It's
Mm-hmm.
gonna be the new main channel. It's gonna I'm gonna use the Rebirth channel to link people to go to that channel.
Mm-hmm.
And it's gonna be a manosphere adjacent black sector channel. I'm no longer involved in the Umar Johnson sector, and so I'm going to make that the channel that I'm going to talk about a lot of manosphere related things and topics and relationships and stuff that's
Mm-hmm.
typical in the space. So I just want to let people know you can definitely subscribe and share to D Darrell Live. I mean D Darrell the Rebirth Live, and I look forward to seeing you all there.
All right. That's wonderful. That's
All right.
wonderful. Can't wait to see a lot of content over there. Because like I said, you did some real debunking on the what it called the black demographics in a way, and I'll probably have to go back and watch replay of that because that one was very informative. So like I said, looking forward to more content, Didero.
All right, man. Y'all have a great day.
Yeah. All right.
All right, Dieter.
And you, brother, bro, speaks. Any closing remarks?
Yeah, well, as far as like the love and cuckoldry, I mean, at the end of the day, whatever relationship you want to be in, I mean, as long as you're upfront with it, it is what it is. As far as black men and black women getting together, as far as with the hair and all that kind of stuff, you have to be powerful in your own right. You have to love yourself and kind of put yourself on a pedestal. And I think the biggest problems, especially when we these interracial relationships, it seems like we don't put ourselves on that pedestal. It's usually I'm trying to run away from black men. I'm trying to run away from black women. But even with all that, they still want to interact with black people. With the whole thing with pink pill lady. You say you don't deal with black men no more, but you still entertaining a black man. But your channel was supposed to be about black women getting with other races of men, particularly white men. But you're still entertaining black men. If you truly are a divester, you shouldn't even have entertained David Carroll. You should expose him from the jump. That just says
yeah. You're and I see the psychology why some people. But my thing is this:
right.
in regards to exposure, and personally, if people get exposed, let's keep real. They normally do it during either life or during death. At the end of the day, it's always for deeper context that if someone's gonna go out the way to expose somebody, it has pointed the two fingers on themselves saying, okay, if this was such a problem, instead of using this said person, matter of fact, I would say if someone's giving you intel and it's not really valuable intel, right? What she has said, that it should only kept to a certain degree, and eventually, if you did expose it, no one can really say anything bad about it because let's be honest, as any male content creator, if I'm talking cash shit about the other group or in our group like that, and conditioning others to say follow me and stuff, and I go behind closed doors, still want to interact with these people, by default to the youth that are gonna be adults, they're gonna look at as cap, that look at this contradiction. You get me? And we have to be mindful of that. You get me? We gotta look at how they're gonna view it. You get me? Because let's be honest, social media has become the father and mother figure for a lot of our young people.
Yeah.
It should not be that. We should have very much more intel and control of what our children that's gonna be adults consume it. I mean, hell, I haven't really covered what's going on regardless the teacher fighting this girl or any of the things that we see on social media. And the reason why I don't waste my time to cover it, I could, but I might not will it because really I don't see that as importance. And here's why. Because anytime any student that's in a public setting trying to learn and they come here to fight their teachers, whether full-time teachers, substitutes, for a reason because they don't want to take basic instructions just to come and you come there to learn. You didn't come there to socialize, not. That tells me there's a failure on the parents' part. I don't care which parents raise them. You get me? If they can act this way outside your household, what are they doing in your household?
Exactly. And
that tell me there's no structure. There has to be structure for both the girls and the boys because they are reflection of you, the parent. whether you're a single parent or you have both you and the father together. Your child overall is the reflection. And one time's community, usually your children, if they act a certain way, there's always consequence from some other person in the community, and they get it once they get home. Because we don't have no more, you have to be very diligent in how your children is being raised moving forward. Because there's no community structure that's going to hold your child accountable now.
Nope.
And personally, from what I'm hearing, that certain parents don't want happen to children, that to me now you definitely don't want no accountability. So now what's going to happen? You leave your children to be fed out in this world to reap the consequence. And I say that's a no-no. Nothing's perfect, but we do play a part to mitigate these little issues. You get me?
Yeah, and it goes
learn
back
when there's actual consequence and rewards. If you're not instilling it enough, they don't see the value of the consequence. They'll think that everything that's given to them or what they do, there's no consequence. So they live and move and roam out your care, that thinking that the world owes them something. And that is completely false, especially a Black person. You were saying something?
Right. Definitely. And it goes back to what we were talking about earlier. It does come back from the home, because I can tell you a quick story. I was
keep it short if you can.
Yeah, quick story. We had this child. We was doing a parent teacher conference, and the parent was the Black woman was mad at us because the child was failing. She would get straight A's on the tests, but homework and stuff she was failing because she wouldn't turn the homework in. The counselor took to the girls' locker, opened the locker, all the homework there. She never took the homework home. The mother never apologized or nothing. So it goes back to the home. And to wrap up all the beauty and all this stuff, all that stems from the home. If you're not instilling their self-worth in that home, if you're not showing them that they're okay as they are with their natural hair, and to love the beauty, the natural beauty of and looks of each other, somebody's going to influence them. Social media is going to influence them. These rap videos going to influence them. These TV shows, other kids. That's just the way it is. And you see the results right now. So, and they'll follow certain people, even though they're not living up to what they're saying, but they'll follow them anyway because it sounds cool, but in actuality, these people are just leading them up to be lonely and depressed.
Yeah. Hold on. Yeah, that's a good story. I like that story. Yeah. Well, it should be a teacher lesson, but thank you again, Brother Bro Speaks. Appreciate it.
No more chaos. Thank you for having me up.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. And like always, likes are free. And let me see if I can put this back up here. I forgot. Where is my thing? Where is it? Yeah. Oh no, guys. Oh damn, it's disappeared. Are you serious? Yeah. I don't know. I y'all know the donation tab. I forgot what it was. Where was it? I had it up here. Yeah, that's weird. You go through a lot of things in the chat room. It's like you miss a lot of things. Where is it? Yeah, so overall, it is what it is. Okay. I see your comment, Mel Vesta. Okay. Yeah, so really truly, that's pretty much it. Personally, that's how I see it. Oh, thank you. Yeah, thank you. Bro Speaks. I didn't know which one was it. Yeah. I'll post that comment. Yeah. And y'all guys wrote a lot of comments. I'm scanning through it. Pretty good. Old Mindset Must Be Destroyed by Ray Hammonds. And we got Positive Vibe. And we got Juju. Juju's back. Tyrese Blue. D Darrell always. And Mel Investor that came in. Yeah. So that's pretty much it. Overall, as much times when I cover the few content creators that I don't really watch much, is a good testament to really understand the more bigger picture. As you know, the Chaos Reign, we don't really sell products like that. I'm very wary of really having books and promoting teaching things. And the reason why that is because it holds a greater responsibility personally. And like always, if that's your business model, by all means, have at it. Make sure you are a representation of that business model and make sure it works to the best of your benefits. And we are always up to criticism, But overall, I have to be very wary now, and I never put this as a thought, but I'd be wary of anybody that said they no longer want to deal with the community, but still involved in the community in regards to having these conversations with Black folks that still, last time I checked, still want to have some relationships, cohabitations, or something to deal with to keep on with the so-called Black race. I mean, I can't really take people that seriously that stepping out and dating out. Personally, I mean, that's my views on it. Regardless, people don't like it or not. And this is the reason why I don't promote interracialism as a whole period. Because it's not beneficial in the long run. Because see how we behave now towards each other because self-hatred. My God, imagine everything else we do if we do it. So, but overall, I hope y'all got something out of this. The background, the history, and if you survive up to this point during this broadcast, there are some sense of solutions. At the end of the day, you gotta give people what they want. And last time I checked, I don't think Black men ask for too much what they want. I mean, obviously, whether Black men get it or not, that's another conversation. But men keep it simple. That's where I'm at with it. So, like I said, I mean, I really won't give no respect for anybody that said they're dating out and then still want to talk about Black issues and stuff and make fun of it. Because let's be honest, people, and this is a real talk. Anytime you have people that really constantly talk about this community and they no longer associate in regards they have a family outside this community, I mean, it tells you by default they still want to have a Black family and still want to be involved. And really true, they really want a Black mate. That's what I'm getting at overall with a lot of these conversations. Regardless of who has the options to date out or whatever. And then if they still want to be involved and still want to, talk crap about this community, that gives the answer that they still want a Black family and they really want a Black mate. That's the conclusion I'm drawing out a lot of this. And it's becoming evident every day, all day, every day. And that's how I see it. And I'm going to stand firm on this. But anyway, thank y'all for watching or listening. Make sure, like always, to leave a comment at the end of this video. Follow me on my social media links. Follow me on Twitter at ChaosReign7. Add me as a friend on Facebook, Eric Rain on Facebook. Follow me on Rumble. I'm going to eventually put some content on there because it seemed to me I'd throw some videos up there to hopefully get a following. But I look at it as like another avenue that, regardless of people that's on there, I will highly advise people to start following me on Rumble because I want to start doing some content over there as another avenue because I want to be a little bit more raunchy, and it's hard to do it on this platform here because, as you know, I gotta be cordial because this is where people mostly are at. But to really say and go really raw and uncut, I think Rumble will be a good platform to try out for now. I'm not saying I'm going to abandon here, but I like to bounce around, hopefully. So please follow me on Rumble. The Rumble link, if I could find it. Let me give you the Rumble link. Right now, I don't really have much followers, but that doesn't stop anybody from following me on Rumble. So please, guys, make your way to Rumble. Please, I would appreciate it. I would really appreciate it. I want to grow my following in Rumble. There's a link there, and I'll put it in the description at the end of this video. And join the Discord service of the Chaos Range Show as well. I mean, as you know, all social media links are important, and I like to grow them as good and as fast as possible, but as steady as possible as well. And let me read the last two comments. If folks understood the respect, kindness, and patience is the key to successful relationship, you're not going to be able to run amok and still have healthy relationships. Indeed, Melon Vessel. I wish I had a clap. I don't have it right now. Breeding hate and contentment instead of love. Indeed. 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 I like that. Yes. And another comment. They asking why makes no sense. Folks need to do better, period. Exactly. And that's the whole notion. You have to do better as a man and woman, regardless of your situations. Because we are a reflection, not only with the race, but the community we stand. So please respect it. And what else I have? I think that's it. That's all the links. So, like always. I mean, like always. Thank you. And like always, thank you to the bottom of my heart. Thank you for watching today's stream. I'll be looking forward to the next upload or live stream here on the Chaos Range Show. And until next time, everybody, the Chaos Range.